Hello, everybody. Welcome to
Hello.
a nice, chill hangout stream. Foundry had gotten some updates, and nothing is working at the moment, so I can't run what I have planned for the Paragon stream for a little bit.
Yeah. It just takes a day or two, and then it's back up.
Yep. So we're just gonna let that do its thing while we hang out and look at some people's homebrew. If anyone's curious, the background music is made by Tabletop Audio. Feel free to go support them if you wanted if you are so inclined to do so. Go ahead and check them out, just tabletopaudio.com. And of course, if you want to support us on Patreon so we can make more cool stuff, feel free to do that. You get a bunch of exclusive things, such as exclusive Discord access, and at the highest tier, permanent discount on everything in our merch store. Speaking of which, we also have a merch store, if you want to check that out. A lot of cool stuff on there. A lot of it featuring Erica's art, and of course some dice stuff as well. Just so those pop-ups aren't going, I'm going to go like this and exit out of Steam. There we go. So, we want to just take it easy, look at some homebrew. And we were thinking looking at some subclasses, unless either of you two wanted to look at something else in particular.
Oh, that sounds good.
I'm fine with subclasses.
Yeah.
All right.
Find something interesting.
So, what we were thinking...
We're gonna do a little bit different than what we did the last couple times. Rather than just the base page, we're gonna look at some of the best and some of the worst.
Yep.
As far as rated ones go.
Yep, and obviously we're not going to go through all of these. We'll go through and we'll look at ones that, like, catch our eye. We'll probably go through a few pages, and then we'll go to the worst ones.
Mm-hmm.
But, as you can probably see, these top few are kind of interesting.
Let's start with the anime swordsman.
Okay, this is a fighter subclass.
So just picture this. This is just Wraith Ghost. This is Wraith Ghost's new subclass.
All right. Base class, fighter. There isn't enough time in your life to hear the backstory of this individual. The anime swordsman's past is shrouded in mystery, and you can bet this fighter's parents are gruesomely murdered in his or her formative years. Alrighty. Gloating monologue. When you choose this archetype at 3rd level, as a bonus action on your turn, you can loudly and deliberately make a long-winded monologue aimed at a creature explaining exactly how you've just gained the upper hand and have been holding back in some ridiculous and obscure way. Make a charisma, intimidation, or performance check contested by the target's passive wisdom insight. If you succeed, you have advantage on the next melee attack he makes against the target creature on this turn.
Because they believe you have the upper hand. That's great.
I like that it's against their passive insight.
Yep. Haunted yet convenient past. At 3rd level, you gain proficiency in intimidation or performance, your choice.
That's great.
Oh, here we go. The power of friendship. Starting at 7th level, when a creature drops one of your allies to 0 hit points in sight, you go into a blind rage and attempt to revenge them. You have advantage on all melee...
Avenge.
To revenge them, yep. You have advantage on all melee attack rolls against a creature that downed your ally, and disadvantage on all attack rolls against any other target. This effect ends if the target dies or your ally regains at least 1 hit point.
Oh gosh,
That's actually kind of cool.
That's great. Oh my gosh.
Let's see. And then plot armor. Starting at 10th level, when rolling for death saving throws, you only suffer 1 failure when rolling a 1, and you regain 1 hit point on a roll of 19 or 20.
Really? Wow.
Plot armor.
And then it goes into untapped.
Imagining.
Why are you doing that? I don't like that.
Because that's what anime characters do. Ow. Actually, that's just Dragon Ball Z.
Gosh.
You get untapped potential. Starting at 15 level, you gain a climbing speed equal to your current walking speed. This benefit works when moving up or across completely flat, smooth surfaces, but only in short bursts. If you fall if you end your turn against a surface and nothing else is holding you aloft. Additionally, the extra attack feature from the fighter class now applies when you take the ready action to make an attack. Alrighty. And then you get ridiculously impractical ultimate attack. Starting at 18th level, as an action, you can make a single melee attack against a creature with extra anime power. A massive explosion forms from the power of your convictions and monologues, and each creature in a 40-foot radius from your target, excluding yourself, must make a dexterity saving throw. The ability save DC equals 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your strength or dexterity modifier, your choice. The sphere spreads around corners. If your attack hits, the target takes the damage as normal and makes it save against the explosion at disadvantage. A creature takes 20d6 fire damage and 20d6 bludgeoning damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one. Once you use this feature, you must complete a long rest before you can use it again.
Oh my gosh.
A ridiculously impractical ultimate attack.
Yeah?
Please tell me it's verbal. Please tell me you have to say the name every single time you use it.
Probably.
That's
Time
amazing.
to hit you with my ridiculously impractical.
You just do the United States of Smash! That's basically what you're doing.
Ridiculously impractical.
Alright, now, if we're looking at this from a critical eye... Obviously, this ability, the ridiculously impractical ultimate attack, is...
It needs to be stronger.
It is very overpowered.
It is ridiculous.
But it's funny. It's funny. I know it's supposed to be a joke, but if we're being...
Stick with the theme.
Yeah, but if we're being honest, though, all the other abilities are actually pretty solid. I know they're to make fun of it, but like if you change the flavor text and didn't present it as a joke, they'd actually be pretty solid. Like you get like the monk feature to be able to run across surfaces. You get the death saving throw thing is actually really good. I really like the power of friendship ability where you can just laser in on somebody that downed your ally. Like, yeah, this is actually like a pretty decent subclass despite the jokes.
It's hilarious. I love it.
And this is one of the better rated ones?
This is the best rated one.
The
best rated one. I can see why.
It's
I
amazing.
can see why. Everybody can live out their anime protagonist fantasy with this build.
Alrighty. Now, of course, there is the garlic bread domain subclass.
Yes.
Alright.
I want to do the garlic bread domain.
Base class is cleric, obviously. You are dedicated to the deities of the tastiest snack there is. These include deities such as Loafeta, Garlicchio, and the very evil Chessmen. They give food, garlic bread, to the homeless, but they cannot do this alone. That's where you come in.
That is my one true role in life. It's my calling.
So
I
you
must give
get
garlic bread to the homeless.
So you get toasted. At first level, you have become a chef to appease your deity. You gain proficiency with cooks utensils. Alrighty, and Disciple of Garlic Bread. Starting at first level, you have received the ability to make garlic bread for those who need it. You may create garlic bread at any time. You may only make 2 average-sized pieces at a time, and you cannot make more until the previous ones are eaten. This is not disabled by an anti-magic field or similar effects.
That's great.
You get immortal garlic bread.
Immortal garlic bread. Does it make you immortal, or is it just garlic bread?
No, it's
that
just
never
the
dies?
garlic bread. It's true garlic bread. It never disappears.
I
True
see.
garlic bread.
Okay.
Yeah.
True garlic bread never disappears on you. It's always there for you when you need it most.
All right, and then you get feed the hungry and gorge the wicked. Starting at second level, you may channel your power to feed those who need it. You may use your channel divinity to do one of these things. You give all hungry people and creatures in a 100-foot radius the nutrients they need to live. Or you give one creature of your choice you can see within 30 feet 1 level of exhaustion.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I was hoping that it would say that they need garlic bread, because then if you give them garlic bread rather than nutrients they need to live, I can't use that against a vampire. It's just going to feed him with blood. But if I just give him garlic bread, it'll kill him.
Well, that's why you can summon the garlic bread in your hand and just rub it on their face.
Just eat it in front of them, like, you can't touch me. You can't get close to me. You can't see me.
Then you get butter slick. Using the power of garlic butter, you may slip up your enemies. Starting at 6th level, you may cast grease at will. You may also use channel divinity to cast grease as a bonus action.
That
Oh my
is
gosh.
great.
It basically becomes a cantrip.
Yep.
Fabulous.
All right, and then let's
That's
see.
hilarious.
Then you get garlic infusion. At 8th level, you gain the ability to infuse your weapons with the power of garlic, which causes them to deal an additional 1d12 poison damage because of food poisoning. This does twice the damage against vampires.
Yeah.
This increases to 2d12 at 14th level. And then, here we go. We got delicious retribution. Starting at 17th level, you may send those opposing your deity away forever. You may use an action to bring any creature with less than 100 HP at an alignment opposite of yours to 0 HP.
Oh my gosh.
You must take a long rest before you can use this feature again. Just
It's
a power word kill.
kill. That's amazing.
Well, I think this one's perfect. Needs no improvements. It's great just the way it is.
It is. It truly
Up
is.
next, Barbarian, Path of the Baguette. Someone please make this. It's in the comments.
I mean, Osmo can bake.
Oh, man. Let's see. And then, of course, we got 2 goblins in a trench coat. The
Yes.
rogue subclass.
I want to see the 2 goblins in a trench coat.
The party is certainly shocked to find out the enormous-sized humanoid they thought that they knew was, in fact, 2 goblins in a trench coat. However, these sneaky, industrious Sphinx found a way to make this odd situation work to their advantage. Too many hands. Starting at 3rd level, you have advantage on sleight of hand checks. Panic. When you choose this archetype at 3rd level, whenever you take damage, you can use your reaction to split and go in two directions at once. This grants you the effects of disengage and allows both goblins to move up to the full movement speed each. While split, each goblin has half of the remaining hit points. They still share the same initiative, do not get any more attacks than normal. They are still only one character. But so long as both have weapons, either one can attack. While split, they count as an ally for the purpose of sneak attack. Attacks of opportunity against them have disadvantage. They cannot regain hit points by any method until they use one action to rejoin.
That's fantastic.
Huh.
Interesting.
You get cut some eye holes. Starting at 9th level, you have advantage on all perception and investigation checks.
Oh gosh.
You may also use the Goblin Dark Vision if the race they were posing as didn't already have better than 60 feet night vision. You also cannot be surprised. While separated through panic, they lose advantage, but their total modifier for all investigation checks and perception checks are doubled.
So that's beyond expertise.
Yeah. Their total modifier. That's really strong.
Especially if you're a rogue. You're talking,
Yeah.
oh, I'm going to have a plus 34. Thank you.
Yep.
Dang.
Little too much.
Yeah. That's a bit too strong. I would say you get advantage on the... Like, just keep the advantage because you can split up and...
I would say when they're split up, you have expertise. Maybe expertise rather than well, no, not expertise. That's a way to dumb it down, and then the later one is you get advantage.
Honestly, I feel like you could get rid of this thing while the wild separated and still be good. Not being able to be surprised is good enough on its own. Along with the dark vision and the advantage on perception and investigation, because you're like getting the help action. So I would say if you wanted to balance this, just get rid of this thing where it says while separated through panic. Just lose that, and it'd be much better.
If I did this subclass, I'd have the bottom goblin have like no tongue or something. Part of his tragic backstory. He can't talk.
His name is Legs.
Yep.
Alright. Bickering. By 13th level, your goblins have grown diffident enough that they have learned new skills. Gain proficiency in 3 new skills. While the goblins are split using panic, their constant arguing is enough to confound any foe. Use a bonus action to force enemies to make a wisdom saving throw. The DC is 8 plus proficiency plus charisma. Unless they have proficiency... is performance, persuasion, deception. Then they may calculate the DC as... Oh, that's a word salad.
Yeah.
Unless they have proficiency is performance, persuasion, or deception. So
if they have proficiency in performance, persuasion, or deception, they can use the modifiers of that. So basically... If
they have expertise...
That means that they get to have... they're using expertise in the DC.
Well, how they have it written out is the exact same way, because it'd be 8 plus proficiency. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so basically
expertise.
Yeah, basically you'd get to do your expertise with them. Yep. On a failed save, the target has disadvantage on all attack rolls. On a successful save, the enemy has disadvantage on attack rolls against on a successful save, attack rolls against all targets except your goblins. Make a new save at the end of each of its turns. If the target makes their save after having failed their save at least once, they will automatically succeed on saves against the effect for the next 24 hours. Honestly, this is a bit too much.
It's way too much.
Yeah, if they succeed, nothing should happen, especially since you're doing it as a bonus action.
And there's no limit on how often you can do it. And the fact that he's saying if they succeed, they have disadvantage on everyone except the person they're attacking. But if they do succeed, then they have a disadvantage on all attack rolls. And
except for the ones focused on the goblins.
Yeah, and then they make the save at the end of each of their turns. Okay.
Weird.
Yeah, and then they're immune to it, but still, you need a limited amount of times you can use it. If they save, nothing should happen at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that...
And then I wouldn't give it that expertise bonus.
Wouldn't give it the expertise bonus. And then to balance that, get rid of their immune to the effect.
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of that. And then also specify for how long it goes.
Does it go indefinitely until they until they succeed?
Yeah,
that's random.
Based off of what it is, it's indefinitely. Gotta give it a duration.
So I can do it forever. How do you do that?
Well, yeah.
And then you get Gotcha. When you reach 17th level, you become adept at playing off people's surprise at your strange nature. When you attempt to attack a creature, it must make a wisdom saving throw versus 10 plus your charisma bonus. Unless you have expertise in performance or deception, then DC is equal to 8 plus charisma bonus plus proficiency. On a failed save, you have advantage against the target. On a successful save, your creature perceives your nature and has disadvantage to hitting you the next round.
Too many abilities that give disadvantage on hitting.
And yeah, it's a lot of the same thing. And once again, if they're saving, they shouldn't get a negative effect unless they're taking damage and it's half damage. They should not be punished for saving.
Yep.
I see that this is rated very highly because of the joke.
Right.
But honestly, it doesn't, like, if we're looking at it from an actual...
It wouldn't... Being a garlic person, that sounds like fun. Being the anime swordsman, that sounds like fun. That one doesn't sound like fun. It's funny, but I wouldn't have fun playing it as written.
Yeah, this one is purely just the joke, but actual mechanically, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It is both overpowered in certain respects and severely underpowered in other respects.
Yep.
It doesn't function.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Alright. Should we do time domain or school of tax evasion?
Let's do one that
Tax
is very...
evasion.
Let's do the time domain and look at one that isn't obviously a joke.
And then let's look at the skull one, because it sounds awesome.
Yeah. Alright. Gods of time tend to be concerned with natural order and preventing excessive meddling in time, even allowing their followers to manipulate time in their service. So you get domain spells. So at first level, so this is not updated for the new D&D 2024.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Most of these won't be.
First level, you get Expeditious Retreat and Featherfall. Augury and Whole Person. What does Augury do again? By casting Gem in Lane 6, rolling Dragon Bones, laying out Ordinate cards, or employing some other divine tool, you receive an omen from an otherworldly entity about the results of a specific course of action that you plan to take within the next 30 minutes. The DM chooses from the following possible omens. Wheel for good results, woe for bad results, wheel and woe for both good and bad results, nothing for results that aren't especially good or bad. Spell doesn't take into account any possible circumstance that might change the outcome, such as the casting of additional spells or the loss or gain of a companion. Okay, so it's like
basically seeing into the future.
Yeah, just haste and slow. Yep. Divination, another seeing one. Freedom of movement. Legend lore and modify memory.
I like that.
That is very thematic, very flavorful, and very useful.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Flavor.
It's tasty.
All right, let's see. You also get Foresight. At first level, you gain a small degree of foreknowledge that improves your reaction time in combat. You can give yourself a bonus to your initiative rolls equal to your wisdom modifier. Awesome.
Love that. That's awesome.
Really, really cool.
I like that a lot.
All right, temporal adept. Also at first level, the river time is slower to wash away your magic. When you cast a spell with a duration of 1 minute or longer, you can double that spell's duration. Once you have used this feature, you cannot do so again until you've completed a long rest. Very flavorful, very not super overpowered, but can be very useful if done right. And so it's pretty situational. That is just awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
I like that a lot.
And then you get your channeled, 2 channel divinities, of course. So the first one is slow time. Starting at 2nd level, you can use your channel divinity to bend the river of time around you. On your turn, you can take 1 additional action on top of your regular action and a possible bonus action. Ooh. The additional action cannot be used to take a cast a spell action, and you may make no more than 1 weapon attack if you take the attack action with it. Okay, so you get a little extra attack with your Channel Divinity.
But why the possible bonus action? And what do you get for that?
I think what they're trying to say is an action or another action or bonus action. Your choice, I think, is what it is.
Well, it says and a possible, not or. So probably what I would do. Well, I mean, it's like having an action surge, basically.
Yeah.
So I probably wouldn't have the bonus action. I'd just have the action.
Yeah. Which would be extremely overpowered.
But you don't get multi-attack. You can't use it to cast a spell.
And you can't cast a spell, so that's what makes it balanced compared to... That's what makes it not completely outshine the fighter.
Yep.
So...
Well, here's my other problem with it. To activate a Channel Divinity, you have to use an action.
No.
No? Oh, you do if it says.
Yeah, every single Channel Divinity is completely unique.
Okay.
Channel Divinity is just the resource that you expend.
Okay. If it says as an action, then it counts as an action. Okay.
Yeah, because your Boarding Flare is a reaction.
That's not a Channel Divinity, though.
Ah. And then your other Channel Divinity is...
And this is at 6th level.
Yep. Rewind time. Starting at 6th level, you can use your Channel Divinity to travel a small distance back in time. As a reaction, when you make an ability check, saving throw, or attack roll, you can re-roll with advantage. That's actually really good. So you get to roll 3 dice in total, technically. You may choose to use this feature after seeing the result of the roll, but before the outcome is determined. You must use the result of the second roll. And then... So yeah, really, really good.
Just a way to give yourself advantage.
Yeah. And then you get potent spell casting. This is something you either get that or the melee attack one. Add your wisdom modifier to the cantrips.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get Time's Master. At 17th level, you have bent time to your will. You gain the following benefits. Time Stop is a domain spell for you. Like other domain spells, it is always prepared and counts as a cleric spell for you. What does Time Stop do? It's a 9th level spell. So you still have to expend the spell slot. You briefly stop the flow of time for everyone but yourself. No time passes for other creatures while you take 1d4 plus 1 turns in a row, during which you can use actions and move as normal. That is awesome!
Man, that's great.
The spell ends if one of the actions used during this period or any effects you create during this period affects a creature other than you or an object being worn or carried by someone other than you. In addition, the spell ends if you move to a place more than 1,000 feet from the location where you cast it at. So you can't just spam attacks, but you can use it to
maneuver and move around.
Maneuver, and probably if you're a spellcaster that can like set up traps, like a glyphs casting a bunch of glyphs of warding if they step in certain areas.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That could be really good.
1d4 plus 1 turns. Okay.
Yep. Then you get Time Stop. I literally just read that. And then you experience no further physical effects from aging. You cannot be aged magically, and your natural lifespan is increased tenfold.
Ooh, I like that idea.
You can use a bonus action to double your base walking speed until the end of your turn. So you get a bonus action dash.
Nice.
And whenever you cast a cleric spell 1st level or higher with a casting time of at least 1 minute, you can spend an additional spell slot to reduce its casting time to 1 action. The additional spell slot you spend must be of a level no lower than 1 level below the spell's level. Pretty niche, but really good. Alright, so let's look at this kind of critically. I love this.
I love it, love it, love it.
This is amazing. Yeah, who made this? Gaius Octavian Alaray. This is great.
I'm going to add that to my collection and upload it.
Just
Like
you're coming with me.
that is really good. My main things with it is I would say probably
Dude, you could multi-class, be a level 3 cleric, and then a level 11 fighter. And then it says that you can only use if you use it to attack, you can't use multi-attack, which they did specify.
yeah.
But I could do attack, 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 especially if I'm dual wielding, then bonus action attack, and then action surge, attack, 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 and then use this channel divinity, attack, and then if we keep the possible bonus action, another attack.
Yeah, my main thing is clarify possible bonus action. Just clarify what that means.
Is it just if I were the DM and I saw that, I would say, all right, roll a D100 on a 90 or higher, or just roll a D20 on a 19 or a 20. Then you can get a bonus action too.
Yeah, that could work.
That's how I would do it.
But yeah, it does need specification on there. And then the rewind time channel divinity, because you're re-rolling it with advantage. So are you just rolling it again and, well, re-rolling it with advantage? Yeah, that's rolling 3 dice in total and then having to use that roll with advantage. So ignoring the first roll.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, this is great out the box. Honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Very flavorful, really strong without being stupidly overpowered.
And just thematically really cool too.
Yeah, thematically great.
In each campaign, we've had a time-based person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
let's add more to it.
Let's bring in more of them. We have to keep the tradition going.
All right, School of Tax Evasion. It's a wizard. This school is that of mages that focus their studies on the art of tax evasion. These mages are capable of deceiving others and detecting similar deception within others, as well as evading taxes. Some tax evaders use their beguiling nature for mundane tasks, such as getting away with shoplifting. However, some tax evaders use their power for far more sinister means, such as taking control of nations and using their charismatic abilities to rule unopposed. Alright, minor tax evasion. Your training in the School of Tax Evasion enables you, on occasion, to completely avert the cost of transcribing spells into your spellbook. When copying a spell level lower than the maximum level you are capable of casting into your spellbook, you may roll 1d100. If a number from 0 to 5 is rolled, the spell costs nothing to transcribe. Anything between 6 to 15, the spell costs half to transcribe. Anything between 16 and 94, the spell costs a normal amount. However, if you roll anything from 95 to 99, the spell's transcription fails, and you have wasted the cost of transcription, and the copying process must be attempted again.
Right.
I like that.
Alrighty. Beginning when you select the school as second level, your abilities to con your way out of situations becomes extraordinary. You gain proficiency in the deception and persuasion skills if you do not have them already. Additionally, you gain the Friends cantrip. If you already know this cantrip, you may learn a different wizard cantrip of your choice. This cantrip does not count against your number of cantrips known.
Nice.
Deceiver,
nice and simple.
Yep. Deceiver's Clarity. Starting at 6th level, your ability to deceive others has grown to the extent that you can recognize the signs of it within other beings. When purchasing any items, you may roll an insight check with advantage to learn if the price is fair or not. You also gain advantage on saving throws against being charmed. Okay.
Nice.
Silver Tongued. At 6th level, you add the Fast Friends spell to your book if it is not there already. You can cast Fast Friends without expending a spell slot. However, when you cast a spell in this way, the target does not know it was charmed by you upon the spell ending.
That's nice.
Once you cast Fast Friends in this way, you can't do so again until you finish a short or long rest, though you can still cast it normally using an available spell slot.
I like that.
I
The
like
fact
that a
that they
lot.
don't know that they've been charmed.
Yeah.
Alright, then you get greater tax evasion. You have progressed in your studies in the School of Tax Evasion to the point where it has made evading taxes significantly easier. Starting 10th level and copying a spell into your spellbook, you roll a d100. The number is 0 to 15 rolled. The spell costs nothing transcribed. 16 to 50, the spell costs half. Anything from 51 to 94, the spell costs a normal amount. However, if you roll anything from 95 to 99, the spell's transcription fails and you've wasted the cost of transcription, and the copying process must be attempted again. And then you get Sight of the Misleader. Starting at 14th level, your ability to evade and cheat your way out of situations has grown to the extent where you can see through the trickery of others. As a bonus action, you may temporarily gain True Sight until the end of your next turn. You may use this ability a number of times equivalent to your intelligence modifier. You regain all expended uses upon finishing a long rest.
Thanks.
Alrighty. So, I will say I appreciate the joke, but I would say of actual gameplay, I would probably give it maybe a 3 out of 10. For several reasons.
Relatively weak.
Well, yes, extremely weak. Because here's the thing. The rolling the D100, it is... You have a chance to fail. No other wizard subclass has a chance to fail transcribing something into their book. And if you're of any of the other schools, any spell that is of your school, the cost is already halved. So basically... Guaranteed to be halved. So basically, you have a tiny chance, and into a slightly less tiny chance, to do it for free.
Right.
Another thing is, how often are you actually... It's a feature in the Wizards, but how often are you actually transcribing things? You're not transcribing a new spell every short or long rest. You're maybe getting 1 or 2 more spells every level if your DM really likes you. So this is rarely going to come up at all, and when it does, you have a chance to fail, and you're most likely going to get absolutely nothing from this ability. So that's the first thing.
I do like the Fast Friends thing, though.
I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that. Well, you get the Friends cantrip, which is okay, but the Friends cantrip doesn't... They'll know they've been duped for that. And then you gain proficiency with Deception and Persuasion. Sure, you're proficient in them now, but now you're having what is called a MAD subclass. Multiple ability dependent. Now you need your intelligence and your charisma, but you also want high con.
Yep.
So you're running into that. Now, going into the Deceiver's Clarity, the checking to see if it is a fair price is you get advantage on those.
That one's lame.
That is a very, incredibly niche. And it's basically just a whole thing of saying and it's very nuanced, because it's like, fair is a subjective thing. It's like, oh, I pay more than the average price, but I'm out in the middle of nowhere, so it's hard to ship it out here. There's so many things that go into it. For something that boils down to your DM just saying, yeah, or nope. Because that doesn't mean you can get a better price, it just means you know whether or not you're getting a good price.
Yep.
And then on top of that, you gained advantage on saving throws against being charmed. Useful, but that's...
On its own, it's not that great.
Now, let's talk about the ability that you
Especially
really
because
like.
there's already a bunch of races that have that.
Now, let's talk about the ability you really like. You could do this to get that Fast Friends to your spellbook, or you could just be an enchantment wizard and get that same effect on every single on every single enchantment spell that you will ever cast from here on out for the rest of the game, and be able to do it as many times if you have spell slots. So this is basically just a crappy version of the enchantment wizard's ability. This is just
Does the enchantment make it so that they don't know
yeah.
that they were
The enchantment wizard you can modify their memories, so they might not know that they were charmed, or you can just completely make them lose memory of the entire time that they were charmed.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So this, when you can literally just be an enchantment wizard and get the 100 times better version of this, do it with any enchantment spell, as many times if you have spell slots. Basically, this is just a completely worse version of that. Greater tax evasion is just slightly less worse than the minor tax evasion. And then sight of
know what would be better? Instead of still have I would get rid of the chance to fail and only have a chance of, oh hey, there's a 5% chance that when you transcribe the spell it's free. And then instead, what if you give them a chance to, whenever they cast a spell that has a gold component, to do that at half price?
Either that or to not consume. To not consume it at all.
Exactly, yeah. To not consume it.
That sounds like a much more interesting and honestly much more tax evadey.
Yeah, way more tax
you're not paying the magic tax.
Well, and there's a lot of very powerful spells that everyone avoids because they're super expensive. But if I could summon one of those giant angel things to fight for me and I don't have to pay it 1,000 gold a day, that's worth it.
Yeah, there's a chance where you don't have to. Yeah. Now, before we get into improving it, you've got Sight of the Misleader, which as a bonus action, you gain True Sight until the end of your next turn. This one is useful.
Especially at 14th level, you're going to be just seeing a lot of more magic-y concealment stuff.
It's useful. It's useful and...
But very niche.
Yeah, it's very niche. It has to be very specific encounters that do this. But I would say keep this, because I actually do like this ability, being able to see through deceptions. True Sight is very useful. But other than that, I mean, I think you can just keep that. That one's fine.
Uh-huh.
But the other ones, yeah, it should be there shouldn't be a chance to fail the transcription, first of all. And it should be, you're most likely to have to do the normal
I would say you have be like 0 to 50 is normal price, and then 50 to 95. Actually, no. 0 to 75 could be normal price, and then 75 to 95 could be
half price,
and then 95 and above is free. So that way,
95 and above is free, and then at the better one, then it goes from then I would say it does 0 to 50 for the normal, and then 51 to 90 as half price, and then 90 to 100 as free.
Yep.
And then on top, and that same chance to, that same chance to not consume the spell things. Although it would just be a 5% chance to a 10% chance. Nah, I would say that one would get its own percentage. Probably just like a 25%.
What's the average tax that people do?
Yeah, I would say just a 25% chance to not consume the spell component that costs gold.
And then at the higher level, make it
50.
50% chance.
Yeah,
I like that.
So we can do that. Changing the tax con man. Give them these proficiencies, but make you be able to use your intelligence for it.
Yep.
And then you can keep the friend's cantrip. That's fine.
Nice.
Yeah.
Deceiver's Clarity. Keep the advantage on saving throws against being charmed, because that is pretty useful. Completely change this ability. This one is not
Useless.
Yeah, it is useless. What you should do is give them advantage, because once again, this is also using another stat, using wisdom. Let them use the deception and persuasion and give them advantage on things when negotiating prices, whether when negotiating costs, rewards, basically anything that would benefit them. So whether you're buying something or you're making a deal for a quest or things like that, give them advantage.
And I said give them advantage on any skill check that is used for bartering. So, like you're saying, so that could also mean if they choose to use intimidation, for instance, or use anything. So it's like, I could use deception, I could use persuasion, I could use intimidation. Yeah. Really anything I want to.
Yeah. It keeps it on theme, just makes it not completely useless.
Right.
And then the other one that needs to change, the Silver-Tongued. You learn the Fast Friends. This one, honestly, I think I would I don't know how to fix this one. It's just I don't know how to fix it. You'd have to completely replace it because it's just the enchantment wizard but worse. Cuz basically I guess you could just keep it as is.
Keep it as that, and then maybe add an extra thing that happens at level 6.
Yeah. And then it went from... And then with all those changes, it goes from one I really don't like to one that I find kind of meh.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, and it's just... I can respect the joke. This is funny. But I am not a fan of it in actual practicality. Because it's like, as much fun as these memes can get, I also want something I'd actually want to play, even if it is a meme.
Like, I'd be more likely once again to play the garlic bread domain.
Have to make a couple changes to it, but
Sounds fun. Save me a slice.
Right.
Yeah. I'm curious about this alchemist rogue down here.
Oh.
Alchemist rogue.
Very bottom.
All I see is alchemist.
Oh, it just... Oh my... yeah, that's it.
I know, I'm kidding.
Alright. So, base class rogue. Here's this. As an alchemist, you mix and match different substances to create harmful or helpful potions. The alchemist excels at providing aid to allies and applying status effects to enemies. Alchemy Whiz. When you choose this archetype at 3rd level, you have proficiency with alchemy tools and nature checks.
Okay.
Good. Master Mixer. When you choose this archetype at 3rd level, you have advantage on trying to identify the chemical makeup of an object. Creating mixtures with an alchemy kit takes half the normal time. Potions you create, created by you, add your proficiency bonus to their damage and healing. That's actually really cool.
That's awesome.
That's cool. All right. One thing I would immediately already add to it: alchemy and poisoner's tools.
Yeah, do both.
Give them both. Other than that, I really like where this is going. Now here we go. You may use your action to haphazardly mix chemicals together in a flash roll. Oh, so this is an action. So you can So in the middle of a fight, ooh, I like that. You could just, it's like Big Hero 6, that the girl with the periodic table on her purse, mixing the chemicals together. Roll on the chemistry table to see what concoction you brewed up. The mixtures are very unstable and should be consumed within 1 minute. After 1 minute, the potion dilutes into a foul-tasting liquid with no additional effects. If you spend your action to mix a potion, you may use your bonus action to toss it or feed it to a teammate on the same turn. That is really good. Each mixture takes 10 gold's worth of ingredients that can be purchased anywhere alchemy supplies are sold. Alternatively, you may spend 2 hours in nature to harvest enough ingredients for one mixture. Alright, so it's a very expensive one to play.
Yep.
And you've got a whole table.
Oh, dang. All the way to 50. Oh, all the way to 100, yeah.
All the way to 100.
I want to see these. I love these.
Alright, let's go down the left column first.
Okay.
Alright. 1 to 2. Oops, you caused a chemical explosion around you, dealing 3d6 poison damage to all targets within 10 feet of you. Halves damage on a dexterity DC of 10 plus... Oh, 10 plus intelligence plus proficiency. Oh, so the base is 10, not 8, like normal.
Yeah.
Alright. Mana. Drink this to regain 1 spell slot 7th level or lower. Wow.
Wow.
Really good. Granted, this is all on a chance.
You have a 1 in 50 chance of that happening.
Yeah. Alchemist Fire. On a hit, takes 1d4 fire damage. Takes this damage again at the start of each of its turns. Creature can end this damage by using his action. Make a DC 10 dex save. Bottled Luck. Drinking this allows you to reroll one of your own rolls within the next minute. Hallucinogen. The target makes a DC 10 plus intelligence plus proficiency constitution saving throw. On a failure, they are distracted by the visions and gain disadvantage on attacks while attackers have advantage. Every turn they may attempt to break free of the visions with the same save. So basically, they're just seeing stuff. Alright, Concussive Blast. Targets hit by this potion take 1d10 thunder damage and are knocked back 5 feet away from the one who threw it. Herbal Cleanse. Cleanses 1 negative status effect that is curable without a restoration spell. Okay. Snail Smoke. Snail Smoke. It's a poison that disrupts the target's reaction time. The target's movement is halved and they cannot make bonus actions or reactions. The target must shake off the poison with a con save of 10 plus int plus proficiency. Alright, so that is the base. 10 plus int plus proficiency. Basically, you're going to want to change that to 8 plus int plus proficiency, just because that's the standard metric that the game is based on.
Yep.
But other than that, I'm liking this so far. Truth Serum. Consuming this forces you to tell the truth for 10 minutes. You may still dodge questions, but you cannot lie. Adhesive Slime. The slime restrains an opponent until they take damage or are broken free by an ally. At the end of each of their turns, they may attempt to break free with a con save. Dragon Scale. Your skin becomes hard and scaly. Gain resistance to slashing and bludgeoning damage. Lasts 10 minutes.
Nice.
Smoke Bomb. Creates a thick fog in a 20-foot radius. Vision is brought down to 5 feet, and any attacks made in this fog are made at disadvantage. Increased Density. Become extremely dense, increasing your weight by 5 times. Moving requires a strength check of 20. Anything flying is immediately grounded. Unwilling creatures can shake off the effects with a con save at the end of their turns. Lasts 1 minute. So suddenly you're just like, oh, that thing that's flying up there? No, I made it too dense to be able to move. That's a creative way to lock things into place. I like that. That's fun. Instant Hero. You gain an immunity to being frightened and temp HP equal to the Alchemist Intelligence modifier at the beginning of each of your turns for 1 minute. So it's heroism, basically.
Yeah.
Oil Slick. Creates a non-flammable oil that can spread in a 15-foot line. Anyone trying to walk over the oil must make a dex save or be knocked prone. Green Dragon. Gain the resistance to poison damage for 10 minutes and 1 charge of poison breath. Every creature hit by this must make a con save. Oh, this one does 8 plus con. Or take 2d6 poison damage, half as much on a save, and 15-foot cone. A creature can only make one breath attack per long rest. I would say swap that out rather than one per long rest, one per potion you drink.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you drink another one of these, if you just happen to roll the same thing, then...
I'd just say let him do it.
Yeah. Then you get Hover. You hover 1 inch above the ground, allowing you to effortlessly skate along the floor. Your movement increases by 10 feet for 1 hour.
Dang.
Fear Gas. The target must make a con save. On a failure, the target sees their greatest fear, and the frightened status is applied to them. The creature may use its action to... it has to use its action to repeat the save. This one does need to be specified of what they're saying. Are they frightened of you? Because you need to be frightened of a target for the mechanics.
I would say the person whoever threw it.
Yeah, that is my thought too. Or yeah, I think so. Then enhanced senses. You become extremely alert. You have advantage on perception checks and gain blind vision of 20 feet. Blind sight, not blind vision, but yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Booze. The special concoction of your own design makes users feel more confident. They can add 2 to their charisma checks for 1 hour.
Liquid courage.
No, right.
I like it.
Liquid courage.
Blue dragon, same thing as the green dragon, but it's lightning damage in a 30-foot line. Water breathing, you can now breathe underwater for an hour. Dry ice, on hit, the target takes 1d12 cold damage. Okay, so it's just a thing. Okay, so one thing, looking at that, you should probably specify if we're making attack rolls with this and everything, you need to specify the range and everything it does.
If it were me, I would go off of the stats of the alchemist fire.
Yeah, but it needs to be specified on here to it needs to be specified on here to
what's the range?
Basic, what is the range? And then the other thing is too, which we might see later, but I haven't seen it mentioned yet, so I'm going to bring it up, is you're a rogue. Will this contribute to your sneak attack? Because if it contributes to your sneak attack, then great. If not, having a way to really do sneak attack, this immediately becomes an objectively bad rogue subclass specifically.
Yeah, so we'll keep that in mind. But the way I would do it is if it has a harmful effect and you hit, you add your sneak attack damage.
Yes, that
specifically is... any harmful effect. That includes the ones that don't deal damage. So, like, if I made him fearful, it also does the sneak attack damage if it applies.
Yeah, maybe give the mixtures you throw like a base set of damage, like maybe like 1d4 damage or something like that.
That's one way, yeah.
All right, and then so you got the dry ice flash spraying. Blinds deafens one target on hit for 1 minute. At the end of each of their turns, they make a con save, returning to normal on a success. So yeah, that's once again on hit. You need to specify the attack range, what ability score you're using, all that stuff. And necrotic resistance, and then also halts the decay of flesh for 1 hour, extending time for resurrection spells.
That's nice.
Okay. Healing potion, then 2d4 plus 2, and then it's a 4d4. It's a greater healing potion at 9th level. Understanding, you can comprehend all languages for the next 10 minutes. That's cool. Acid, on a hit, the target takes 2d6 acid damage. Nice. Noxious fumes creates an area of gas in a 5-foot area. Targets that end their turn in the gas take 2d12 poison damage.
And it says it lasts for a minute, so.
Yep. Yeah, so, yep. And then I would say with this Noxious Fumes, make it a save. Give them a save to take half damage or not.
Mm-hmm.
Shrinking. The target shrinks one size smaller for 10 minutes. And unwilling.
Well, if we're going to add a save, then I would say if they enter or end their turn.
Yes, yes. Target shrinks one size smaller for 10 minutes. An unwilling creature can resist with a con save. Ooze armor. Applies the living ooze to the target, which acts as a gooey suit of armor. The target gains 4 plus your intelligence modifier of temp HP. Nice. Delayed reaction. This explosive does 4d10 fire damage in 10-foot radius and only explodes after 1d4 hours. The DM rolls for the time and cannot tell the alchemist. So this is
I like that.
That's
Okay.
great.
As much as I love this, it conflicts with how this mechanic works. Because when you use your action, it's only there for a minute.
Yeah, I would say
comes
it's there for a
diluted.
minute. I would say it's there for a minute unless otherwise specified.
Yes, because otherwise, then this just doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I'd say unless otherwise specified.
Yeah. Got Corrosive Ooze. When placed on a material, the AC of that material reduces something one step weaker than it. Iron to stone, stone to wood, etc. This has no effect on organic material. Right?
What about... I would just say, rather than that, just make it a -2.
Yeah, just give it a
That
specified
way you can
number.
put it on something's armor or scales or something,
Yeah,
you know?
just specify. Give it a specific number. That way, it's way more universal, and you're not doing more work for yourself for the DM.
Exactly.
Lightning in a bottle. Drinking this gives you an aura of static electricity, making your hair stand on end. Any melee attacks that hit you within the next minute force the attacker to take 1d6 lightning damage. Nice. Love potion. The target is charmed with the first person they see after taking the potion. And then they can resist it with a con save. Font of Health. Affects a 5-foot area. Anyone ending their turn in the sweet smelling gas can breathe in 1d6 healing. Lasts 10 minutes and can only heal for 6 times your alchemist level. Oh, okay. So basically, if you're level 5 in this subclass, it's 10 minutes, or once it gets up to 30, once 30 health points have been restored. Whatever happens first.
Nice.
So basically, I throw it, and there is a pool of there's a small cloud of a max of 30 hit points sitting there. So that's until
Cool,
it's all
sounds
used up, or it fades. Red Dragon, same as the other two, but it is a 15-foot cone, 2d6 fire damage. Smelling Salts. It allows the user to revive a fallen comrade with 1 hit die worth of health returned. Very nice.
Smelling salts.
Yeah. Growth. 1 size larger, and then they can resist with a con save. False Death. Puts the user in a death-like slumber that would fool even the finest physician. Lasts 1 hour, and then it's a con save of 10. Getting hit wakes them, so I'm guessing that it ends if they take any damage or anything. Alright, Spell Jam. This RGL prevents casting on a failure of a con saving throw. For 1 minute, the creature may use its action to repeat the save on their turn. Featherweight. You become light as a feather and fall very gently. Watch out for windy days. Lasts 1 minute. Quickness. Grants advantage on initiative rolls and dex saves while increasing AC by 1. Sludge Bomb. A particularly gross potion. When thrown, it explodes, dealing 3d6 necrotic damage to all targets in a 10-foot radius. Halves damage on a dex save. Steroid. Anyone consuming this can add 3 to their strength checks and their melee weapon damage. They must also subtract 6 from their int and wisdom checks for 1 hour. Stone Skin. You become gray and your skin hardens. Raises AC by 2 for 1 minute. Vial of Light creates a liquid that glows brighter than any flame, granting vision up to 120 feet away. That is really bright. Stupefy. The target must make a con save. On a failure, the target has disadvantage on all wisdom and intelligence checks for 10 minutes. The creature repeats the save at the end of each of their turns. And then White Dragon, same thing, but it's a 15-foot cone of 2d6 cold damage. And then Philosopher's Stone on a 99 to 100. Place on a smaller, medium, inanimate object to bring it to life for 10 minutes. The object obeys your commands. You may issue a verbal command every turn as a free action. The object only responds to basic commands such as go here, attack that, don't move. Okay, so before we move on, first thing you need to do is when you're rolling to hit, you need to specify what those rolls are, what the range is, what stat you're using, all of that. So up here in the chemistry, you've already gotten on those. So what I would do, instead of calculating and showing the formula on each of these things, you just say, if it requires a saving throw, this is the save. This is the save formula. If it requires an attack roll, here's the attack roll formula. So yeah. So that is one thing that definitely needs to be added on there. And then other thing that needs to be done is, specifically with this Philosopher's Stone at the end, you need to give it a stat block if it can attack. Give it like the animated object stat block and specify that. So yeah.
Yep.
That's basically it.
The other thing I would do for that delayed explosion one, instead of 1d4 hours, I'd say 1d4 rounds. Much more quick, and it's just like, shoot, I gotta get rid of this in the next 6 seconds.
Yeah, I actually like that. I agree with that, because then it's immediately useful.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see what else you get before we go in deeper. You get bright ideas. Okay, so this is choosing this archetype. So this looks like you get it when you first get it.
Yep.
With a stroke of genius, you quickly create the exact substance you were searching for. You may spend one bright idea to select what you want off the chemistry table in place of rolling for it. You start with 2 bright ideas and gain 1 additional idea every 5 rogue levels. New bright ideas come to you after a long rest. Okay. I like this.
Then you get to pick what you're using.
Yeah, I like this. Now, here's the thing. You need to... one, you need to make this clearer. I would say give us more bright ideas. Make it like... 2... Make it like 2 plus your proficiency bonus bright ideas, or equal to 1 plus your proficiency bonus bright ideas. Or if you don't like that, 1 plus your intelligence modifier bright ideas. Basically, it's just give us more of that. And then the other thing that I would do with this is with this whole thing in general, is allow us to prepare some outside of combat and have things ready for combat, ready to go.
Yeah.
I mean, where you're doing it already as an action.
No, I'm saying, like, you can use, like, your bright idea, so the ones that you spend your bright ideas on is what I mean.
Well, you just use it. It doesn't cost an action to do it. So you can use it whenever you want.
Yes. That is the other thing that this needs. Specify your action economy. Can we just do this for free? Is it a free action? Is it an action?
I would say keep it just a free action, just as a free action. you can use that. That way you can use it in or out of combat as you see fit.
Yes. And then, let's see. Waste not, want not. Starting at 9th level, you know the exact amount of components required to create substances down to the milligram. Mixing potions now takes half the materials it usually does. Additionally, you can salvage the ingredients of unused potions to mix again after they've lost their effectiveness. Okay, I like that. That is a good one. That's really good. The other main thing is, I feel like collecting the ingredients and doing that, there should be an easier way to keep track of how many you can make. Because...
Well, it's easy. All you need to do, because you just create a custom item and then say, I have this many.
Okay, true.
That's easy.
Yeah.
And you just know every time you want to buy more, it costs 10 gold until you get to that one, and then it costs 5 gold.
Yeah. And then I feel... but I do feel like the 2 hours for one mixture is pretty brutal.
I agree.
I feel like it should be 10 minutes per mixture. Or at least an hour per mixture.
I would do an hour and then 30 minutes at 9th level.
Alright, and then you get potent. Starting at 9th level, your mixtures have an extra kick to them. On any mixture that requires you to roll a dice, you may now roll an additional die. So basically, any damaged ones or healing ones get an additional die.
Yep.
So
like
that's really good. Extreme toxicity. Starting at 13th level, your mixtures now
R&D first.
Oh yeah, R&D, sorry. R&D. Starting at 9th level, you wished for a way to administer potions from long range, so you created one. Mixtures can reliably be fired from a crossbow, allowing you to administer aid and pain from a distance. Potions that once needed to be consumed may be shot with a dart that administers the fluids. Okay, so yes, but this implies that all your potions are melee.
No, you can also be thrown.
Throwing darts.
You can use a bonus action to toss it. Or
Oh,
feed
yeah,
it.
yeah, you're right.
So no,
Okay.
I would just give it the same range as whatever an alchemist fires is.
Yeah.
To start out.
Yep, and then extreme toxicity. Starting at 13 levels, your mixtures now do double damage or double healing. That is really strong.
Mm-hmm.
And Mad Scientist. Starting at 17th level, you built a resistance to chemicals that an average person cannot take. You use your newfound resistance to enhance your body. You can only administer the volatile mixture yourself once a day. You mutate into a huge creature and become resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, acid, fire, cold, and lightning damage. Your unarmed strikes have +8 to hit and do 66 bludgeoning damage. Lasts 10 minutes. Permanently immune to poison and the poison status effects. Okay.
My biggest thing with this subclass is I wouldn't have this be the rogue unless you're including sneak attack. If you're keeping this as is, then I would use it more in like a fighter subclass.
Yeah,
Something along those lines.
this feels more like it would be a fighter subclass because there's nothing.
You have to incorporate that sneak attack.
Yeah, there's nothing to go along with sneak attack, and then the other thing, this level 17 ability is the least rogue ability ever.
Yeah, it does not mix with it at all.
It has +8 to hit. What stat does it use? You need to do that. So, I would say completely scrap the Mad Scientist ability. 100% scrap the Mad Scientist ability. That's just gone. Replace it with something else. Extreme toxicity. Do not give it double damage. Say that it ignores immunity and resistance.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like that.
Ignores immunity and resistance.
Or basically immunity becomes resistance and resistance gets ignored.
Yep, I like that.
Is what it does.
Yeah.
And then
like
I would say anytime you hit, if you hit anyone with a harmful, or if any of your abilities have an attack to hit, you can add your sneak attack damage to it.
You want to know what I would actually do instead of that?
Yeah.
Because the thing is your whole action economy is going to making your going into making your mixtures. You're not able to attack with any of the stuff. So what I would do, what I would do instead is you use your action to create 1d4 mixtures. And so that way, on your next turn, you can shoot your crossbows, slice with your dagger, and then use your bonus action to toss your mixture. To toss or use your mixture. That way you're getting the sneak attack, and you're still being a rogue. But you don't have to spend loot, because how this plays now, every single turn, every single action is going to be a mixture, unless you're out of stuff. And by that, and if you're out of stuff, then you don't have a subclass.
Right. That's fair.
And so basically, yeah, use your action to create 1d4 mixtures, and then when you run out, you have, rather than going for that sneak attack, you spend another action to make your mixtures again.
Now here's my question. Say I make 1d4, so I make 4. Is that going to cost 40 gold still?
Yes.
Cool. So you can choose to make. It's like, all right, I can make.
Well, the thing is you've already, if you're using gold, your gold isn't flying out of your pocket mid combat. You've already spent the gold on the ingredients.
I know.
So, yeah. So basically,
yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah. So basically, if I spent 100 gold, I have 10 mixtures worth, and then I rolled a 4. I make 4 out of those 10, and then maybe put in an option where you can choose. You can choose to make up to what you roll, but if you want to use less, you can.
Yeah, you can do up to.
Yeah, you can do up. You can do up to. So if you roll a 4, you can go up to 4, but you're not forced to make 4. You can make 1 or 2 if you want to be more conservative with it.
I like that. Yeah, I could get behind that. That way, you're still doing the this stuff, because some of these are like on a hit when you hit them with it. Other ones are area of effect. Other ones aren't. I would say if any of them says that it's like a target hit, like it's a singular target and it's a hit, I would still allow for the sneak attack damage on that.
Yeah. As long as it's using your dex for it, which it should be if you're a rogue.
I mean, you're tossing it, so yes.
Not necessarily. You toss a javelin, that doesn't use your dex. But
well, in this one,
yeah,
every one of these will have proficiency. If it doesn't have proficiency, this is a shitty subclass.
Yeah.
Everything they throw would be with proficiency with these.
Yes, but basically what I'm saying is when you stat out the throw and the thing, you have to specify that it is a dex-based weapon. A dex-based weapon attack.
What I mean, all of these are going to be in the same bottle. They have different effects, but it's the same bottle that you're throwing. No,
it's you're making 4 bottles if you roll a 4.
Well, I know, but what I mean is I'm not going to be, when it says a timed explosive, I'm not going to have a satchel I'm throwing. It's going to be a bottle with an explosive inside of it.
Yeah.
So in other words, doesn't matter what I'm throwing. Every one of these, no matter which one I'm throwing with proficiency.
I know. What I'm saying is, you're not listening to a single thing I'm saying. What I'm saying is, when you, in order to be able to get sneak attack, when you throw it and you have to make an attack roll, and you throw it, it's a ranged weapon attack with this range, and it uses your dex. It is technically a finesse weapon. So that way it gets sneak attack, because you can't get sneak attack with anything that is not a finesse weapon.
And don't let it do it on any of the area of effect ones.
Well, yeah, because those aren't attack rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Like the concussive blast, where it says like targets hit by this potion take 1d10. Allow them to roll sneak attack with it.
And
obviously I'd add that in the up above in the chemistry info.
Yeah, along with that stuff, and of course, sneak attack is already balances. You can only get it once per turn. So if you already got it with your crossbow shot and you throw it, then you already got your sneak attack. So
yeah.
So you'd have to specify the attack rolls as a finesse weapon attack.
Mm-hmm.
At range, it definitely would have to be a ranged attack.
A lot to keep track of, but it sounds like fun.
Yeah, it would be a lot of fun. Need some tweaks. And then we'd want to
that mad scientist one, though. Gotta completely get rid of that.
Yeah, I would swap it out. I would swap it out with maybe you can make a certain amount, like each long rest. Maybe you can make a certain amount of potions of your choice for free that don't go bad.
You could do that. I mean, it's level 17, so it's not that much.
Yeah. But being able to make a certain amount of, at this point, greater healing potions that do an extra D4 of healing, I feel like that is an insanely good capstone.
Yeah.
Because you could also make however many you allow to make is those delayed explosives. Just make a ton and just throw them.
Maybe you could do it where it's like, all right, if you consume a bright idea to make a potion, you have a if you roll a d20 or something, I don't know if I would do like a permanent always, but like have it be a chance one anytime you use a bright idea.
I don't like it being chance. Once
again, it's level 17.
It's level 17. So. At this point, you are literally fighting gods.
Yeah.
A wizard can literally make a new dimension at this level.
Dude, and the Phantom Rogue, I was doing an extra 8d6 necrotic damage to another person and the original attacker on a sneak attack.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there should be no chance to fail with this ability.
So just make it limited use or something?
Yeah, just each long rest you can make X amount of potions for free.
I like that.
Of your choice, yeah. Because the bright idea still uses the resources.
Yep. I like that.
Yeah, so that's
dude,
what I do.
You could just freaking go in and purposely make the mana potion and just like get on the wizard's back and just have a ton of them ready and just, all right, we're just gonna cast a ton of what is it, Cone of Ice.
Cone of Cold. Yeah, that might be a bit overpowered now that you bring it up. I would say make this mana. I would say rather
than
do mana,
I would do 3rd level.
Yeah, 3rd level or lower. Even then, infinite fireballs, I'd say 2nd or lower.
And you could give it to him and make your teammate drink it on a bonus action.
Yeah. And by that level, you can also shoot it from afar.
Yep.
Or you can only benefit from this potion once per long rest.
There we go. Yep, I like that. We'll do that instead. Yeah, and then leave it at 7th level.
Yep. I'd probably still reduce it to 6th level, or 5th level, actually.
What are some 7th level spells?
Alright. But, I did like a lot of those. Those were neat. Alrighty, but shall we look at the bottom rated?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the worst rated one by a long shot, because number 3 is -91, number 2 is -203, and number 1 is -535.
Oh gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Abajurai Samurai.
Abajurai Samurai. It is a rogue. Followers of the Samkarat Samurai follow codes of self. The Samkarat isolate their home island called Moijo Toji and their massive Japanese-style home. Death attack. Double your sneak attack at 3rd, 6th, 9th, 12th, 15th, 18th, and 20th. So, it's times 2, then it's times 4, then it's times 8. Well, yep, I can see why. So, instant kill everything. You got it. Samurai increase. Choose one type of damage. Add 3d6 of whatever damage you choose.
It's
to any...
times 128 by 20th level.
Yeah. And
Oh
so 8d6, or what, 10d6 times 128?
Yeah. It's way more than that, actually.
Yeah.
Let me go.
2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. Yeah. And then, what is this? Samurai increase. Choose one type of damage.
So it's 1,000. It's so it does so it's 10d6 times 128.
Oh my gosh. And then you get Samurai increase. Choose one type of damage. Add 3d6 of whatever damage you choose to any attack you ever make. Extra damage. Choose a type of damage. Add 3d6 of whatever damage you choose to any attack you ever make. Oh my gosh. Samkarat loyalty. Call upon 10 samurai. Their HP is 50, their AC is 16, their weapons are katana, a longbow, and 2 daggers. They are all drow. Alright, so just call in.
They are hostile to you.
Just call in at any moment. There's no limit to it. Free action. Call in 500 hit points worth of bodies.
Well, you can limit it to once per round, and then you're good.
And let's see. Sweep of the Dragon. The powers of the Samkarat are unleashed within you. A Chinese-style dragon bursts from the ground and eats you, and you are now that dragon. After 7 hours in this form, the dragon lands at the nearest land and fades into you. In this Hold on. In this form, your HP is 150, your AC is 18, your flying speed is 140, your ground speed is 15. Your attacks are Fire Breath, which does 5d6 times 6. What's with all this multiplication? The other attack is a Tail Whip, which does 10d6. Final Breath. Your HP increases by 100, your AC is now 20, and any attack you make becomes 30d6. Plus your sneak attack.
Plus your sneak attack.
Gosh.
So, okay. Alright, so it's 30d6 plus another 6d6. So it's 30d6 plus another 6d6 plus 10d6 times 128.
Plus another 3d6 from the beginning.
And then plus, and then you can also do another 5d6 times 6. What does that mean?
Just love
It means
the fact-
we finally have someone to take down the Grim Reaper.
Oh gosh. I just
That's
love the fact they used a Chinese dragon for a
I'm-
Japanese-inspired
I don't-
character.
That's a good point.
I don't want to be I don't want to attack this because I feel like a very
I do.
small child wrote this.
I love it.
I feel like a very small child wrote this. I need to see the comments.
Sadly, there are none.
It says there's 19.
What? I don't see them. I want to see them.
I don't see them on here. Maybe they're hidden.
They probably blocked it.
Oh man.
Alright, let's see. Wolfpack Hunter. Hold on, I just need to see. Okay, so it looks like a lot of these are rated bad because of just lack of explanation. But let's
We'll
see.
see.
Let's see. Wolfpack Hunter. It's a ranger. Wolf Cup. At 3rd level, a wolf decides to come along for the journey that you are taking.
Hey, Bo.
Okay.
Hey, dude. I'm Bo. Nice to meet you.
So, no, you don't get to command it. You don't get to do anything. He's just there hanging out. All right. Wolves Bite. At 7th level, your melee basic attacks do 1d20 damage.
No matter the weapon you're using.
Or anything. What does that mean? Melee basic attacks.
Unarmed?
None of
I'm
this.
guessing?
None of this complex shit. We can't have that.
Yep.
I'm guessing it means
Wolf-
melee.
Wolf
Or,
Brother. At 11th level.
Just if you bite.
Let's see. Wolf Brother. At 11th level, when you deal 15 or more damage with a melee basic attack, your wolf can make a melee basic attack against the target. So the wolf can
Wait,
only fight
the
when
wolf-
you do more. When you do 15 damage or more.
At level 11.
At level
The
11.
wolf just exists next to you until level 11.
All
Oh my
right.
gosh.
Ascension. At 15th level, you gain one of the following features of your choice. You get Wolf's Coat. You wear the armor of the wolf, which gives you +5 to AC.
No, you killed Bo!
Oh!
Or Wolf's Fang. Your arrows and blades are made from the teeth of your family of wolves.
You killed them all!
So you can get a +5 to AC, or you could get some decorations for your weapons.
Oh my gosh!
Read some of these comments. You gotta read some of these comments.
Alrighty.
They're so good.
He was bred for a single purpose. He's gonna make really cool armor one day. Oh, you're not a wolf pack hunter. You're a wolf pack hunter.
You hunt wolf packs.
A wolf cub comes along for your journey, and eventually, after doing literally nothing and barely being mentioned, it dies. You kill it, skin it, or use the remains of its family for a stat increase at level 15. Whoever made this clearly had an idea, but had no idea how stat blocks and balance and explanations work. Also doing 1d20 damage for a basic attack, which I assume is an unarmed strike, is double a level 17 monk gets for their martial arts die. No stats for anything. I don't even know where to start. Not as bad as the Bajari Samurai, though. Bamboozled. The wolf's bite feature is pretty unbalanced. It would be better to change the ability to make a bite as an attack. The damage of Wolf Brothers and specified in Wolf's Code is much better than the Wolf's Fang. This is still the worst subclass I've ever seen. Well said. Good. If 3 words is too long for someone, they're pretty much illiterate. Let's see. Needs more exposition. You don't need extra damage when you use your family's teeth. This ability is insane by itself. This is the most pointless class, lol. I love it. It's so awful, it's good. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
I just love that one. You're not a wolf pack hunter. You're a wolf pack hunter.
Alright, let's look at one that has
The Godfallen.
the Godfallen. Alright. Sorcerer, True Passion. At first level, you feel your body move before your mind does. You can fight with anything you can get your hands on.
Anything.
so you could just... It's like, oh, can we fight the boss? I don't know. Can you touch it? Then yes. Foresight.
Gosh.
At first level, you can add 2 to your dex roll. The roll of dex, ROLE.
It's actually for performance.
Blade lock. At 5th level, you have an ability to stun an opponent for as long as you lock blades.
Yeah.
I mean, that could
It's
be
like
a
one
really
of
cool
those
thing, but for a
dramatic sword
sorcerer,
Right?
a sorcerer
Wait
that
a
has to
minute.
put his hands on everything.
Wait a minute.
The sorcerer, I feel like the sorcerer is just the bad touch sorcerer. You can fight anything you get your hands on. So basically the sorcerer is just going around just touching people and then punching them out.
You're just stunning them. As long as we lock blades. Didn't specify what blades.
Spell Mash. At 10th level, you can fire all used and unused spells in one turn, hitting one or more opponents. So just all your spell slots in one turn.
Oh my god.
And all your used ones too. So you could just...
Use all your spells and then use them all again.
And then Soul
I
Warp.
don't-
At 20th level, you are able to teleport from place to place, giving you a jump on the enemy. So you can get your hands on them.
Hey.
Nothing personnel,
you just
kid.
Hear a portal open and then just, I'm gonna touch you.
Look at the top comment. Look at the top comment.
Oh my gosh. Oh no.
As we talk
Thank
about
you for this.
touching.
Now the DM is suing me. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
That is funny. All right, let's see. Let's see one that has. Let's see if we can find one that has actual detail. Oh, here we go. A ninja. All right, here we go. Ninja. It's a rogue. Rogues are sneaky, but some take that sneakiness to a whole new level. Ninjas are rogues who master the art of being unseen and unheard. They walk in the shadows and are adept at evading foes, only to attack them from behind. They embrace sneakiness and nimbleness. They often appear to be vulnerable, if seen at all, that is, but their enemies soon realize their error when the being the thought was weak is suddenly behind them and slipping a dagger between their ribs before vanishing again in the blink of an eye.
Why am I
I'm gonna stab
imagining the chubby 7th grader with the black hair over one eye? And the lip ring.
Distract enemies. At level 3, you can, as an action, throw something in your enemy's face, such as sand. The ninja, their first ability is pocket sand.
Pocket sand!
Such as sand, crushed glass, liquid, or dirt. Work with your DM to determine what substances can be used. To do this, you must make a DC 12 dexterity check, and if you succeed, your target is blinded until the end of their next turn. If you fail, however, you waste your action. You have advantage while doing this action. Okay. I actually like this. This is actually a good ability. You
I
should.
would just constantly shout that. Fucking sand!
I know. Alright. You don't need this check. Replace it with a dex save on the enemies.
Yep.
Replace it with a dex save from the enemy. And then limit the amount of times you can use it.
No.
I
I gotta
have
do it
sand
as
in my
many
pocket.
times as much sand is in my pockets. I'm gonna get a bag of holding and then fill it entirely filled with sand.
No, in order to keep it pocket sand, you should get cargo pants.
There you go.
Alright. Let's see. Shadow Stalker.
Each pocket is a mini bag of holding.
Shadow Stalker. At level 3, if you are in darkness, any creatures that do not know you are there must make a DC 13 investigation check to see you. At level 7, this increases to DC 15, and the creature looking for you has disadvantage on the check. If you are unseen and attack from where you are, example, if you are hiding in a shadow, and an orc passes by not noticing you, you'll lash out with his sword from your hiding place. You'll deal an extra 1d4 of sneak attack damage and have advantage on that attack roll.
You know, you could
Okay.
just do the hide action and have even better chance.
Yeah, just do
do a
the
hide
stealth
action.
action. This is useless.
Give them advantage on hiding or something.
Yeah,
I don't
just
know.
do the stealth action. Why do you get an extra d4? That's like nothing compared to the rogue's actual sneak attack.
Yeah.
And then you have advantage on the attack roll. Yes, when you are
do
hidden.
because you're hiding.
Yeah.
You already do.
Has this person played the game before?
No.
All right. Martial Artist at level 13, unarmed strikes can deal 1d8 damage. You add your proficiency bonus, and your unarmed strikes can deal lethal damage if you wish. You also have advantage on
What?
acrobatics and athletics checks. They can already...
If I choose to punch someone to death, it's going to happen.
No, you can't. You can only
I don't
make
need
them
permission.
unconscious. It's like an essential Oblivion NPC. They just ragdoll.
Dude, I still can't get over the image of the 7th grader just from that line up above. They often appear to be vulnerable, if seen at all, that is. But
I
their
know.
enemies soon realize their error and be thoughtfully suddenly
Yeah.
behind them. A
All right.
dagger. Oh my gosh, I
Goodness.
love this.
All right, Ghost at level 17. If you move silently and if you are in darkness, other creatures can only see you if they have dark vision.
Okay, that's half the races.
So you can't hide from them.
You can't hide from them.
I
If
thought
they
you
do
were
not have
addressing
dark
me for a
vision,
second.
you roll a 1d20 plus your dexterity modifier plus your proficiency bonus. And if you get a number equal to 2 or higher than the passive perception of the creature looking for you or passing by you, they do not see you unless you reveal yourself. That's just a stealth check.
That's just stealth.
That's just a
You have
stealth
advantage
That's
in
just
pulling-
stealth.
You have advantage when pulling yourself onto a ledge up to 2.5 times your height rounded down, and you take no falling damage if you fall up to 3 times your height. Also, you always have advantage when taking the hide or disengage action. So you can only so at level 17 you can now only hide from creatures that don't have dark vision.
Why do I need advantage to
So-
disengage?
This is a rogue, but with a resource pack.
Oh my gosh.
This is a rogue, normal rogue. It's just
But I'm gonna
decorated
explain it to
different.
you.
it just looks different.
No, this is the equivalent of I asked Chat GPT to write me an essay, but I have to change the word so the professor isn't suspicious.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. So it seems the psychopath one does have some positive. It's negative 57, but that's 97 down votes to 40 up votes. So some people
I don't.
like
Yeah,
this.
I want to see the psychopath one.
So it's a fighter.
Okay.
Being a psychopath requires a player to willingly let their character slip into the realm of madness in order to defeat creatures and foes. With each blow you do, you can loose your sanity to increase damage output and deal interesting effects.
Is it loose or lose?
It's loose and it's correct. With each,
Okay.
I read it weird. It threw me out. It took me off guard. With each blow you do, you can loose your sanity, like loosen your grip on sanity, to increase
Okay.
damage output and deal interesting effects. I think it's technically correct. It just sounds weird. I would put loosen.
Yeah.
Loosen
'Cause-
your
yeah,
grip on
'cause-
sanity. That's
Yeah.
what I would say.
One of the biggest typos I see people make is using loose instead of lose.
Yeah.
Okay. So this you get maddening. When you choose this archetype at 3rd level, you gain 2 sanity points. When you spend sanity points, you lose 1 point from your wisdom score for each point used. You regain expended sanity points and wisdom score per long rest. That's actually pretty unique.
Interesting.
That's actually a pretty unique way to do that.
I like negative stuff.
I like delving into madness.
Yeah, that I don't hate that, honestly.
Yeah, me neither.
Sanity's fading. Also at 3rd level, as a bonus action, you can spend 1 sanity point to gain advantage on your next attack roll. Okay.
I like that. Nice and simple,
I
but
don't.
interesting. You don't like that?
That is very underpowered. At this level, as a samurai fighter, I can use my bonus action to do my entire... have advantage for my entire turn, action surge included. And I don't lose wisdom
As a
doing
bonus
it.
action?
As a bonus action, yeah.
At 3rd level?
I believe so, yeah. It's 3rd or 6th level. But the point is, getting -1 wisdom for advantage on one attack?
I would do that and then add damage to it.
Yeah. I would say...
Advantage on your attack, on your next attack roll, and if it hits, add an extra 5 damage, and then increase that damage at higher levels.
Yeah. And then, let's see, you get Precise Slash. At 7th level, you get a Slash die, 1d6. When you make an attack with a Finesse weapon, the attack hits, you can spend 2 sanity points to roll this die. The result on the die allows a certain effect to take place per the table. At 1 to 2, target takes plus 2 slashing damage. 3 to 4, 3 slashing damage and is frightened of you. 5 to 6, 4 slashing damage and is considered bleeding. It takes 1d4 bleeding damage every time it takes damage. Okay, so let's take a look at this.
I would get rid of the finesse weapon because it's a fighter.
And
let them play whatever weapon they want to.
And not only that, you're supposed to be going insane. Make it not precise. Make it like a brutal slash or something like that. Yeah. This is not about precision. So,
yep.
And get rid of the slash die. Just have it do extra damage of
whatever the weapon
is. And then with this bleeding damage,
you gotta specify.
You gotta specify how long it lasts. This, and then they gotta be able to make the saving throw for it.
Also, bleeding damage isn't an actual damage type.
Yes. You gotta specify the damage type and everything. But yeah. And then Psychotic Laughter. At 15th level, you can spend 2 sanity points to make one creature who can hear and see within 10 feet make a wisdom saving throw DC versus 10 plus charisma plus proficiency. On a failed save, the target becomes frightened of it. You can choose to spend an additional sanity point to amplify the effects of this ability. Amplifying by spending additional sanity point, you can force the target to make an additional wisdom saving throw with a DC 13. Target fails, roll a d100 and inflict short-term madness on the target. Refer to the short-term madness table for effects. The duration of madness lasts for 1 minute. It should not be a separate save for Amplify. It should just be one save, and when you activate the ability, you choose whether or not to amplify it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Completely Mad. At 17th level, when your hit points reach 0, you do not fall unconscious. Say you fall pro and reduce your current wisdom ability score to 0 and add it to your hit points. Okay, so you die instantly. That's what happens when your wisdom hits 0. Instant death.
Yeah.
If you take any damage this time, you permanently lose that number from your wisdom score. This lasts for 2 turns. At the end of each of those turns, you must make a Constitution saving throw, DC 15, or fall unconscious and fail 1 death saving throw. Okay. I like the concept. Execution is not there at all.
Also, the fact that precise slash you can only do literally once per long rest. That's it.
Yes.
At the cost of 2 wisdom.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think this thing can be improved. You need to just keep this idea and completely scrap everything and build it from the ground up. Like,
I agree.
These things, like, I can't think of anything to improve this. Like, because it's like, a lot of these things, like, how I want to improve is like, oh, take this idea and do it this to make it usable and good. But it's like, no, the Completely Mad just needs to go. Wisdom hits 0, instant brain dead right there. You're a vegetable, regardless of what it is. And then it's also just bad. You would actually be better off multi-classing out at 16th level, because permanently losing your wisdom ability score, that means every time you go down, you will just get worse and worse of a character, and this subclass becomes less and less usable to the point where even if it doesn't instantly make you brain dead, it'll make you less and less useful to the point where you can't do anything without immediately going brain dead. So completely mad needs to go completely out the window. Sanity's fading needs to be buffed severely.
Yep. Precise slash.
Precise slash needs
it's a
to
whole sanity point thing. Like I like the idea, but it just on paper it doesn't work.
see
The fact that you get to consume 2 sanity points, you lose 2, and if you're lucky, if you roll a 5 or a 6, the maximum you're doing is an extra D4 of damage and potentially a little bit of 1D4 bleeding after that.
Yeah. So basically, the actual damage output needs to be completely overhauled and buffed, especially because here's the thing. You can either keep it at it as it is and not lose your wisdom, but if you're losing your wisdom, that damage needs to go way up. That damage needs to go way up. And then, yeah, sanity's fading.
Make it worth losing your sanity.
And I would make it so you get it back on a short rest.
Yeah. See, what I would honestly do is completely to basically build this thing from the ground up, completely lose the wisdom penalty from it. Completely lose the penalty from it. And then basically have a chart. There's a chart where of how many sanity points do you have, and basically you can gain certain actions will gain or have you gain or lose sanity points. So at high sanity, you're better at, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws at high sanity. But once your sanity gets lowered to a certain point, maybe your AC decreases and your saving throws are worse. You get like disadvantage or something like that, but you're doing more damage while you're insane.
Right.
Almost like a Lycan Blood Hunter thing. When they get below half health, they got to make that
wisdom
save. And so yeah. And so basically, rather than just spending it for not even mediocre, for really garbage abilities, for something that can literally turn you brain dead, have it be on a scale, and so you kind of have this fun mini game while you're playing to manage. It's just like, do these things, certain actions will increase your sanity, give you back your sanity points, and certain actions will spend your sanity points. So you can do that.
Watching a teammate go unconscious will decrease your sanity by this much.
Yes.
Watching them die will go by
but maybe giving someone the help action will give you a point of sanity, and then allow that player to flavor it as they want.
Yep.
And so I really like the idea that this person was going for. The idea is there. The idea is solid, and it is awesome.
Yeah.
But the execution, the actual mechanics just isn't there. But conceptually, it is great. Like, you're onto something, but you just gotta... It's just not worth playing in its current state, but it is worth talking about. So, I would say this person just needs more practice and more time playing the game itself. And then, honestly, just play test this thing, and you'll see what we're talking about. Because you also need a way to gain more sanity points. Because you gain 2 sanity points, there's no indication of when you get more. So basically, you either get advantage twice, or once you can do your psychotic laughter, and that's it. And then, also, this precise slash, you don't need an extra kind of die whatsoever.
Yeah.
It should be sanity things. And you could do rather than sanity points, you can do sanity die. And you can do sanity die, which is a D6, then a D8, then a D10. like a Battlemaster superiority die, and then you can spend those those die on things like succeeding saves at a cost or anything, and maybe you'll give into like the battle craze or the bloodlust or however the player wants to flavor the sanity. Maybe they could literally flavor it as becoming super tired, you know.
Uh-huh.
But I feel like doing that, making it the die, would make it a bit too close to like the Psy Warrior and the Battlemaster. So I would say have it be on the point scale, and when you're at certain point ranges, you have these effects active.
Right.
So yeah, it's but yeah, as is it's just it's not playable. But let's see another one that actually has.
We should do the Ninetales one. I'm curious. The bottom.
The
Sounds
Ninetales.
like a Pokemon.
Yeah.
It is Warlock. No, this is Naruto.
Oh, yep. This is Naruto.
The power of the Ninetailed Fox is very potent, so be careful when choosing this subclass. Increased healing. When you pick this subclass, you heal almost instantly after a fight, recovering all your HP, and if your HP reaches 0, you are instantly healed. Alright, so God mode is toggled on. You got it. Strong spellcasting. At level 6, any spell cast against you, you can learn if you save or not, and it casts at max level and not spend a spell slot. You can cast any spell you can cast at max level.
You're a warlock. You cast everything at max level.
Yes, but now you don't consume spell slots if it's one that you learned from getting hit with it.
Good.
So you get hit with Fireball, now you can just cast Fireball infinitely.
I'd love
HP
that.
increase. At level 10, your HP increases by plus...
And you get a fireball. And you get a fireball. Everybody's getting a fireball.
Your HP increases by plus 50 due to the power of the Ninetales. And then, Feral Killer. At level 14, if any member of your party dies and there are enemies on the field, you instantly go into a rage and rush towards the closest enemy you can see.
No, closet enemy.
A closet enemy you can see and not have to roll to attack, and that enemy... excuse me. And not... this fox is giving me allergies. Have to roll, attack that enemy, and roll 6d20 piercing damage. So yeah, pretty balanced. Like, as fun as it is to read these ones, like, these are just completely unsalvageable. I refuse to believe that this was written by anyone over the age of 12.
Yeah. The top comment says, "Be careful when choosing this subclass." Yeah, because the DM will kick your ass out.
Oh man, yeah. I want to actually go into the ones that actually have like details on them.
Merit.
Like something that we can work with rather than just, you know, poking fun at.
All right. How about this? On the second page, the Aberrant Bloodline Sorcerer.
Well,
it has a lot of downvotes and upvotes.
Well, I have this one first on this page, the Anti-Mage. This one has got...
I already read through it.
Oh, okay. Not worth...
No.
Okay. So, Aberrant Bloodline.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, let's see why people don't like this. Your innate magic comes from an aberrant life force that was...
do, though.
I know, but let's see why so many people don't. It might be the same reason... Might be some of the same criticisms we had for the Alchemist rogue, where it's just... It's not fully fleshed out and there's not enough in there, but I guess we'll find out. Your innate magic comes from an aberrant life force that was imbued in your bloodline in the days of yore. Most often, sorcerers with this origin trace their lineage along a line of freed thralls, or occasionally from a reformed aberration's attempt to assimilate into a society, although the latter is rare. Being descended from an aberration, some of the physical traits that present themselves make you prone to hiding from common folk. Aber Ancestor. At first level, you choose one type of aberration as your ancestor. The ancestor you choose bestows an ability upon you, as well as physical characteristics, which are up to you and the dungeon master. Okay. I'm just saying, it would be kind of hard for aberrations to go into the bloodline just due to what aberrations are. A lot of aberrations literally spawn into existence. Beholders. Where do beholders come from? They come from the dreams of other beholders. That's how more beholders are made.
Yep.
And so it's like, being actually descended from an aberration doesn't quite work lore-wise, but obviously...
Yeah, I wouldn't say
It
descended.
it would have to
but-
be a really good dream.
Yeah, but...
A really good dream.
But, I mean, obviously, you know, doing with your world, you know, do with your world whatever you want to do. I mean, you can change anything you want. But I'm just saying, as is, that's not quite how aberrations work. Now, maybe they were completely... Because it's like... tieflings, for example. Tieflings aren't necessarily descended from devils. Take Critical Role, for example. Take Critical Role. Vex and Percy have a daughter who is a tiefling. They have 3 kids, a set of twins that are half-elves, and a daughter who is a tiefling. She's a tiefling because of the deal that Percy made with Orthax, or whatever that demon's name was.
It was a
Yeah. And
So it's just, you could just go off of it's influenced by, my great-great-grandpa fought one and it cursed our bloodline, or...
yeah. So something of that line. Or great-great-grandpa made a deal with it and got some powers and that descended. So yeah. But anyway. So, the things that you get. So you get Aboleth, telepathy up to 120 feet. Insanely strong, and I like it. Same thing, Aberrant Sorcerer. The Aberrant Sorcerer itself just kind of gets that. Which also, keep in mind, you already have the Aberrant Sorcerer, the Aberrant Mind Sorcerer. So you can kind of already get this flavor relatively easily, but we'll see how it differs mechanically. Let's see. Beholder, area of anti-magic, as in the anti-magic field spell, in a 15-foot cone. At the start of each of your turns, you decide which way the cone faces, whether the cone is active. The area works against your spells as well as any of your allies. That is really strong. I would say that is an ability that you would have to do
It's like, once per long rest.
on activation, and I would have it require concentration.
And then definitely make it once per long rest.
Uh-huh. Flump, immunity to any effect that was sense emotions or read thoughts, as well as all divination spells.
I would get rid of the
Flumps are
divination
fey.
spells.
Flumps are fey.
Yeah, they are. But I would get rid of the divination spell part and just keep the sense emotions or read thoughts.
Yeah. Gibbering Melder, immunity to psychic damage. That's fine. Grell, blind sight up to 60 feet. That is also fine.
I would do resistance, not immunity.
Yeah, resistance on immunity. Blind sight up to 60 feet. I like that.
Fine.
That's fine. That's really cool and unique.
Yeah.
Mind Flayer. All spells are cast without material, somatic, or verbal requirements. Absolutely
No.
not. Never. Bad idea.
Definitely no.
That is a very bad idea. I would say Mind Flayer. You can levitate.
Give them that, or just give them a psychic push or something.
Yeah, a psychic push, or let them do the psychic blast cone ability a couple
That's what
times.
I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, this way too broken, way too overpowered, and just a bad idea. If you're a DM writing this, you are setting yourself up for the most painful experience. There's a reason why.
Wait, who keeps casting Meteor Storm?
Yeah, there's no way to track it back to you. There's no way to restrain you. And there's a reason some spells have material components with a cost. Because they're
Also,
insanely
you're a
strong.
sorcerer. Just use the meta magic.
Well, yeah, exactly. There's a reason why it costs sorcery points to do this. There's a reason why it costs sorcery points to do this, because it's ridiculously powerful. Doing that is on the same level as telling it's on the same level as telling a rogue, oh yeah, you can get sneak attack and you don't have to land any of your attacks or meet the requirements. You just get sneak attack every turn.
Mm-hmm.
It's like doing that. Morkoth, swim speed is double normal movement speed. That one I like. That one's really cool. Nyogi, 30-foot climb speed. 30-foot climb speed. You don't need to do all this stuff. You could just say climb speed with spider climb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
30-foot spider
yeah.
climb.
Otyug. I believe an Otyug is also a monstrosity, not a aberration. One armor is replaced with the tentacle. The tentacle can be used for unarmed strikes, but has a reach 10 feet and deals 1d8 plus your charisma bludgeoning damage. If the target is small or smaller, it is grappled and restrained until the grapple ends, and it has to escape. That one is neat. That one is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I can get behind that. That one's great.
Yep.
And then Slod, regain hit points equal to your proficiency bonus at the start of your turn if you have at least 1 hit point. Make this something that you activate, and it has a duration.
Just make it temp.
Yeah, or temporary hit points. Yep, that's actually a better thing. Temporary hit points. So yeah, there's some really good stuff in here, and really bad stuff in here. Bad because it's way too strong. Specifically, I'm looking at the Mind Flayer one. Looking at the Mind Flayer and the Beholder. That is too much.
Yep.
Far too much. The rest of them are actually really solid, except Gibbering Mouther turn it to resistance.
I think I'd probably pick the telepathy one or the swim speed one. Are probably the two that I would go for.
If I wanted to be some sort of freak, I would totally go the Otyug. But once again, I believe Otyugs are monstrosities. Oh no. Oh, yep. They are aberrations. I was mixing up Otyug with the garbage eating monster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so really good idea though. Really good idea. It's just this should not be allowed to exist. And did they change? I could have sworn flumps were Fey. I don't want that. Why is it showing on here? Give me the D&D Beyond link, dude. Oh, is it not letting me because I don't have access to that type? Here, let's go like this. Oh, they are. I could have sworn they were Fey. Oh, I know where I got confused. It's because it's I associate the wild magic barbarians with Fey, and one of their abilities specifies the flump shows up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind then. I stand corrected. Yep,
or
all of these work, but yeah, make those changes and we're on solid ground.
Yep.
All right, then you get Far Realm Armor. As the anomalies in your blood increase in power, the traits of your Eldritch ancestor, physical traits of your Eldritch ancestors emerge. As a result, parts of your skin secrete a thin layer of mucus that allow you to avoid incoming attacks. When you aren't wearing armor, your AC equals 15 plus your dexterity modifier.
Not too far off from the dragon one.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. It's no different from like picking a Thri-Kreen as your race or something.
And it looks like that's just when you first select the subclass.
Yeah. You could do that. I think I would recommend just keep that thing the same, and you get to add your charisma modifier to it. That way, it gets stronger as you get stronger. And since charisma is your spell casting, and that's the focal point of your magic, it's kind of proportional.
Granted, then I would probably decrease the AC a little bit, you think?
No, standard AC. 10 plus Dex plus Charisma. Do the standard thing. Just add your Charisma to it. Alright. Eldritch Consumption. Starting at 6th level, when you cast a spell that deals psychic damage, you can add your Charisma modifier to 1 damage roll of that spell. Simultaneously, you can spend 1 sorcery point to gain health equal to half the damage dealt by the spell. That's kind of cool.
You can add your Charisma to 1 damage roll of the spell?
Yeah, so you don't. So if you're doing 8d6, you're not adding 8 instances of +5. So you're doing 8d6 +5.
What if I'm doing something that, like, I can recast? Will it do it every time I recast it? Like, for instance, lightning.
Yes.
Okay. So anytime I do it.
Yeah, basically when you deal damage. It's basically to
Because
specify...
it says specific psychic damage. It's psychic damage specifically.
Which there aren't that many spells like that you'd have to worry about. But basically, it's for that. You get to add your modifier once, not for each single dice that's rolled.
And you gain health equal to half the damage of a psychic. It's only on psychic. That right there, I think is worth it. And you're spending a sorcery point for it, too.
That ability, completely fine as is. That is okay.
It actually sounds like fun.
Yeah. Otherworldly levitation. 14th level, you learn how to control the vertical position of you and others with mere force of will, granting a flying. It's a hover speed too, equal to half your current speed. You can also cast levitate at will a number of times, equal to your charisma modifier per long rest. That's neat.
Yeah.
Right, Presence of Insanity. Beginning at 18th level, you can channel the Eldritch Insanity of your aberrant ancestor, causing those around you to become confused and frightened. As an action, you can spend 5 sorcery points to radiate an aura of confusion and fear to a distance of 30 feet. For 1 minute or until you lose your concentration, as if you were casting concentration on a spell. Right, so this does require you to concentrate on it. Each hostile creature that starts its turn in this aura must succeed on Wisdom saving throw or be under the effects of the confusion spell and frightened until the aura ends. Okay.
I don't love that one.
That one is pretty underpowered.
Exactly. I'm like, I feel like it's just a higher tiered
it's a worse
paladin.
version of what paladins can do.
Exactly.
Okay.
I also have to spend sorcery points for it, and I have to concentrate, which at level 18...
There's way better things to concentrate on than confusion and frighten. So, what I would do, if you want to make this usable, get rid of the concentration thing. You're level 18, everybody's overpowered. That's how the game is.
Yep.
If you want to keep it, because I do like it flavor-wise. You're just making everything around you insane and sad. You're insane and scared. You're just messing with their minds. So
I would say you just do it and make it a save. But if they fail the save, they also take psychic damage. I would do the psychic damage to it, and then what exactly does confusion do?
They have to roll on the table to see what they do. Move in this direction. Attack. Do this.
Okay.
So yeah. So there's that. So get rid of the concentration. Specify creatures of your choice within 30 feet of you.
Yep.
And then basically it's while they remain in the aura. I feel like as soon as they leave the aura, they should lose the effect. And then maybe they get to repeat the save at the end of each of their turns. And then at the start of each of their turns, they take psychic damage every time, a little bit of psychic damage every time they start their turn until they succeed and the effects wear off.
And then are they immune to it or what?
I would say yeah. Immune to it.
But definitely the initial roll, the very first roll that they make should be more damage.
I would say no. Because you're already going to be dishing out insane amounts of damage at this point. And it's not one big burst of energy. It's slowly seeping into their minds to mess with their minds. So I feel like it should do like a D8 of psychic damage every single at the start of each of their when they first fail, and then every single time that they start their turn
18,
until they
it
succeed.
should definitely be more than a D8. That is a waste of an action, even if you're affecting a lot of things around you. There's so many way more powerful things you could be doing.
Look at it this way. So many things that cannot move closer to you and have to roll to see what they do, so they might not even get an action. They might not be able to even get an action.
What I would do is just do the initial cast of it. So that way, when people are going in, it will last that time, and anyone affected initially will have it. But rather than a constant aura and like, oh hey, if I walk back into the aura, I don't have to make the save again. It's just an initial burst rather than a thing. And then everyone who is affected will last for a minute. But like if new creatures show up afterwards, they won't be affected by it. It's only the initial burst. And then that way you could do like, 3d10 or half on the initial one, and then every subsequent turn do like 2d4 psychic or whatever.
Yeah. And that way, yeah, so it's not an aura around you, it's one big burst, and then just whoever was caught in the blast has those effects until they succeed.
Exactly.
Okay, I can get behind that.
Because I'm like, just 1d8 and constant, I'm like, that just seems very underwhelming at level 18. But being able to do, because I'm like, I can already do as a light domain cleric, I can already do a burst of 2d10 plus 6 at level 6, which is crazy to everyone that I choose within 30 feet.
True. Yeah, you've got a point.
That's at a very low level.
Yeah. So rather than making it this aura that's around you, it's one big burst of everything in range, does a bunch of damage on the initial burst, and then those that fail take the full damage, and then have that effect and take the continuous damage, and then those that succeed just take the half damage only.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay.
And then I would either say make it stronger and make it one-time use, or make it weaker and have multiple uses.
Yeah. Yeah, I can get behind that. And then the other, I feel like that. Yeah, that's a really good idea, Andrew. So yeah, Presence of Insanity. I would say change it to that. And then the other thing I would do is, because a lot of your stuff revolves around psychic, is Eldritch Consumption. Give it another ability at level 6, where you ignore resistance and immunity becomes resistance.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I always like that kind of idea of an ability.
Yeah. And then, of course, the changes to what we talked about up here of the different choices that you can make. Because, some of those are just way too strong. I'm curious to see. Let's see. Let's see. People are saying nerf the AC, or scrap the AC, nerf some of the ancestrals.
Someone made Anna from Overwatch.
Yeah,
that's the subclass.
Ooh, this guy is a good idea. Making the Beholder Eye a damage dealing ray instead.
I like that.
Yeah.
And maybe you have like a third eye. Well,
Yeah.
let them choose.
This subclass does not deserve this many downvotes. The things on here are very easy to fix. It's overpowered in a couple of areas and underpowered in one area, but it requires very little maintenance to make this extremely solid.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. I wanted to see one over here.
On which page?
First page. It's not one of the ones that has like any detail on it though.
Mm.
All right, let's see.
Let's do one more and then we can call it.
Yeah, let's do one more.
I want to look at a good one.
You want to look at a high-rated one?
Yeah, a higher rated one.
Okay, let's go on page 2. What is a subclass we have not looked at? We've looked at a fighter. We've looked at some fighters, rogues,
How about
warlocks.
this druid? Circle of Dragons.
Circle of Dragons. All right, let's see.
On page 2.
Some Dragonborn druidic circles focus on ancient power of the material plane of dragons, bordering the liminal space of magical natural creatures. Joining this circle will make you a catalyst of both worlds. Dragon Shape. The rights of your circle grant you the ability to transform into dragons. Starting at 2nd level, you use your wild chip to transform to a dragon with a challenge rating as high as 1. You ignore Maxiar column of beast shape stable, but can only use flying speed of your dragon form when you are an 8th level druid. Starting 6th level, you can transform into dragon with a challenge rating as high as your druid level divided by 3 rounded down. So, in order to get some context, let's look at dragons. Challenge range of 0 to 1. Okay. So you can become the wormlings. You can technically become a kobold.
Just turn into that.
So yeah, so let's see. Brass dragon wormling. Let's see what you'd be able to do. Yeah, you get the rend. 2d6 slashing damage. And dexterity, you get the 46 fire damage on DC 11 dex save. And then the sleep breath. Okay. Not... Funnily enough, this is still... The fact that, at least at this level, this is still worse than the Moon Druid. Because a freaking brown bear would wreck a dragon wormling. Absolutely decimate it.
Which I like that.
Yeah, but that's the thing. And so I was like, this could be super overpowered. We just proved that it's not. It's good, and it's useful. The only thing that would be overpowered is having a fly speed at this level, but like...
Alright, well let's see. At level 6 then, you can now go up to challenge rating 2.
Yeah, so that being said, that is 3 levels. That is 3 levels of that. So challenge rating 2. We get some more wormlings. A blackguard drake. There we go. There we go. We get multi-attack. Right there. Black dragon wormling. Yep. So you'll be able to get the level 6, you'll be able to get the multi-attack. Which is, if it's a spell gish thing, like a Bladesinger wizard, that's usually where the multi-attack goes.
Yep.
So you get Crystal Dragon Wormling, like, let's see, like looks like the DC is around the 12 thing. Ooh, you can be a Fairy Dragon Adult, yeah. Guard Drake. So yeah, so you got some Drakes if you don't want to bother with the breath thing. Like, I'd probably just go with one of the full melee.
Dude, you can cast Superior Invisibility as a bonus action. Is that?
As the Guard Drake?
No, as a Fairy Dragon Adult.
That's awesome.
Okay, yeah.
I'm
And
interested.
at will, you get Dancing Lights, Mage Hand, and Minor Illusion.
That is really neat. I
And
really
you can
like
cast
that.
Hallucinatory Terrain and Polymorph.
All right.
Sounds like a pretty good
And then
deal.
let's see, at 10th level, when you deal damage with your breath attack in dragon form, you may expend a spell slot to deal 1d8 extra damage per level of the spell slot. The damage is the same damage as the type of the breath attack. That's good.
But
if
you'd be better off just casting another spell.
Yeah. I mean, you can't cast spells when you're in that form. So it works kind of the same way as the Moon Druid's healing, but if we're doing damage, I would say, do one of two things. I would say up the damage to maybe 2d8 extra per spell level. Or what I think is the better thing, you get to, rather than using the dragon's DC for it, you get to use your own spell save DC for the dragon's breath attack instead of the dragon's stat block, whichever's higher.
I like that.
It's kind of the same thing with the new Moon Druid. Your AC, you have a set AC, or the animal's AC, whichever is higher that you turn into.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do that.
Idea.
And then you would need something else to do with your spell slots while you're transformed into a dragon. So maybe, I don't know, maybe just do the Moon Druid thing. You can do your spell slots to heal. Something like that. Just so you can use your spell slots.
Right.
And then, let's see, Dragon Body. At 14th level, your material form attunes to the dragon's form you control. Gain a blind sight and of 30 feet and dark vision of 60 feet. Furthermore, you can expend 2 wild shape uses to transform into a dragon with a CR equal to half your druid level instead of 1/3 of it. Once you use this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. Okay, that's
All right,
dope.
So
That is dope.
Let's say we're max level. So what is a challenge rating?
10.
10.
And you could do this once per rest. Challenge rating 10 dragon. You have got a young dragon turtle, young gold dragon, and young red dragon is what you got.
Ooh.
And level 6 is the max without it.
Yeah. Which, looking at that, the young red dragon, 16 d6 fire damage breath attack in a 30-foot cone.
And that's at level
16.
20.
That's at level 20, yeah. So that's, and at this level, you can also cast your spells in your wild shape form.
Dang.
You can cast your spells in your wild shape form and everything. So I would say, yeah, that's solid.
I like that a lot.
That is solid. Because yeah, you have to remember, you get this 178 hit points. This is once per long rest still. And then you get really good melee attacks when your breath attack is on there. And you have access to all your spells. So yeah,
Right.
this is solid. And then, yeah, 6 is the max without it. So let's see what some 6. Immediately, you got Wyvern. You got a Wyvern. You don't get a breath attack, but you get that poison sting. You've got a young brass dragon. With the fire and the sleet breath. And your young white dragon with the cold breath. So yeah, yeah.
One thing that I think would be interesting to do with this as well, because like some of these can be really strong, like For instance, this wyvern has 127 health.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think a way that you could modify this to make it not as, or remove a little bit, or add a negative effect, is you can only transform into dragon-based creatures. So then that way you're losing some of the utility of, like, oh, I can't just turn into a bug to sneak into this place, or a rat, or things like that.
I think I like that. At the same time, though,
it's like, I don't like being limited. I like having more creative freedom, but I'm like, there's got to be some kind of a turn off or a switch off. And I'm like, that is...
Well...
I mean, that being said, let's see.
Here's the thing. I still think it's less powerful than a moon druid, even the new moon druid. And
because a moon druid, you can turn into a mammoth, which, let's see...
Yeah, mammoth is ridiculous.
Yeah, mammoths are ridiculous. So let me look at the mammoth real quick.
And I'll pull up the moon druid.
So never mind. I take back what I said. Mammoths have 126 health.
Well, they also changed how the health works in wild shape.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So let me see wild shape. There's a bonus action. So everybody gets it as a bonus action now. That's worth noting. You stay in that form for a number of hours equal to half your druid level or until you use wild shape again. Have the incapacitated condition or die. Okay, so getting incapacitated knocks you out of wild shape now. So a hypnotic pattern can knock a druid out of wild shape.
Cool.
Oh,
That's good. That's good to know.
Cool. That's some good balance.
Okay, let's see.
I think.
Let's see. Known forms.
I would say it is, yeah.
Known forms, number of uses, beast shapes. Oh, okay. It's already limited. It's already limited. You can only know up to 4 forms at level 2, and then 6 at level 4, and 8 at level 8. So you
really?
actually have to select what forms you know. I actually like that, because it makes it... I feel like a druid shouldn't be able to turn into anything under the sun. And that way, you can get 2 druids that are completely thematically different. Because I would want to be, like, for me, just animals I'd love to be a bunch of Arctic-based animals. Give me that saber-tooth. Give me that mammoth.
Mm-hmm.
All that kind of stuff. Now, let's see. You also get a familiar, but I just want to see... Alright. Here we go. Rules while shape-shifted. While in a form, you retain your personality, memories, and ability to speak, and the following rules apply. You can speak in druid form. Awesome. That's awesome. You can speak in druid form. Temporary hit points. When you assume a wild shape form, you gain a number of temporary hit points equal to your druid level. So you don't get the health of the thing. You just get temporary hit points. So you, the druid, are still taking damage. So rather than depleting that health pool, you just got to get incapacitated to knock him out.
For the Circle of the Moon specifically, or just in general?
Just in general. This is not Moon Druid. This is just how wild shape works.
Okay.
Game statistics. Your game statistics are replaced by the beast stat block, but you retain your creature type. Okay, so you still will count as a humanoid or whatever. That makes sense. So a whole person could still work on you. Let's see. But you retain your creature type, hit points, hit point dice, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores, class features, languages, and feats. You also retain your skill and saving throw proficiencies and use your proficiency bonus for them, in addition to gaining the proficiencies of the creature. If a skill or saving throw modifier in the beast stat block is higher than yours, use the 1 in the stat block. Okay, so you get temp hit points when you shapeshift, when you wild shape. You don't get a whole nother health bar. So you get your druid health bar with your temp hit points, and that's it.
I don't love that.
I do. Not from a flavor... Here, Well, actually, I do like that, because before it's I replace my character with this beast is kind of a thing. And essentially you become one of the most powerful things on the field immediately. And you become nigh impossible to kill, because once you start getting into the decent CR beasts, like even a max CR1 creature can have well over 100 health points sometimes, or it can have up to like 60 to 70 health points. So suddenly you with multiple wild shapes, suddenly the druid has 3 times the health of the barbarian. And so that's the thing, because the thing is it felt kind of like you were swapping places with the beast that you were in control of. Now the beast body is still your body. You get stabbed as a bear, you get that stab wound on your human person. I like that way better. It makes the druids way less of a boss fight for the DM and more on par with the other players in terms of survivability, because druids are nigh impossible to kill. The only reason I was able to kill our druid player is because she refused the wild shape in combat.
My biggest thing with it is... Wait, let's see. What? Because their AC won't go up. Or does that still get replaced?
Yes. If you... Yeah, when the it is with the moon druid specifically. With the moon druid specifically, you get your AC. You have an AC calculation, or the beast AC, whichever is higher. With the moon druid specifically, because once again.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I changed my mind. I retract what I said. My biggest complaint was, I'm like, if I'm turning into this beast, and I'm like, the temporary hit points are just not enough. But in the Circle of the Moon, rather than just equal to your druid level, it's 3 times your druid level.
Yeah, it says that in Circle of the Moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is
So
for...
that right there, that was my concern.
Yeah.
Was I'm like, that's not that much more health. It's not like they're the biggest, and especially if their AC isn't that good either. It's like...
Yeah, and
it's
so...
like, yeah, that's really not going to be that good.
Yeah, and so basically, you get that. You get the challenge rating for the form equals druid level divided by 3 rounded down. And then your armor class is AC equals 13 plus your wisdom modifier, if that total is higher than the beast AC. And then you get
I would do that,
and then you get the triple.
and the temporary. I would do that and the temporary hit point addition to the Circle of Dragons, just to match the 2024 druid.
Yes, just to match that. So, because it feels like it should be. I would do the temporary hit points. I don't know if I do the AC, just because dragons get a good AC on their own.
True.
And so there might be a trade-off going with one of the squishier dragons. But the temporary hit points, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely that.
And
then I'd give them a spell list.
Yes, give them a spell
spells.
list. Something like Chromatic Orb. Give them the dragon-themed spells. Chromatic Orb, Dragon Breath, all that stuff.
Yeah, you always have the summon dragon.
Basically the Draconic Sorcerer subclass extended spells.
Exactly.
Now, if we look at the new Moon Druid too, they changed it so you don't get the elemental stuff.
Yep.
You
can teleport.
Yeah, you can teleport. And then you also can deal an extra 2d10 radiant damage to a target you hit with the Wild Shape Form's attack. And then... yeah, it is really good. And then... basically... yeah, and while you're Wild Shaped at level 6, you can swap out your normal damage in your Wild Shape for radiant damage.
Yep.
And your you get to add your wisdom modifier to con saves. So all just honestly, I personally think it's even better. Now the main thing is so basically in addition so basically get those, and then maximum challenge rating form equals druid level divided by 3 rounded down. So I'm just curious. I know we're not looking at the homebrew anymore. I'm just curious to see, because I would love to play one. So it would have to be a beast, and then you can go up to challenge rating 6 max. But the thing is, you can do this multiple times. Yep, so you can be, your challenge rating 6 beasts are a giant squid and a mammoth.
Ooh.
So giant squid, holy crap, does a lot of damage.
And a huge giant crab.
A huge giant crab. Oh, I'm not seeing partnered content.
Oh, yeah.
So there's actually more. You can be a Gibali, apparently. Whatever that is. They are chameleon crocodiles, basically.
Crocomelians.
Yeah, they're chameleon crocodiles, giant squid, greater death butterfly swarm. If your DM lets you turn into a swarm, that's pretty cool.
I just want to be a T-Rex.
Let's see. Kongamoto. Mammoth. Yep, mammoth does a lot of damage. A stone whale. And a wake worm, whatever that is. But yeah. So sadly, you cannot get into T-Rex territory.
Yeah. It's all good. That's what polymorph is for.
Yep. But yeah, you got with the stuff that is there, you get big. You get quite you get 9 pages of beasts you can shapeshift into. At least this. Actually, no, even more, because there's less than one. You get 21 pages of beasts to turn into. Now, one of the things with it is one of the things that I would also do with the Moon Druid is I would... one of the other things I do with the Moon Druid is I would allow them to have more Druid forms than the other ones. So what I would do is I would allow the Circle of the Moon Druids to probably get like maybe they could get one additional form with it, because the thing is with the known forms, with the known forms, it's kind of harder to do once you are unlocking forms at higher levels. So you have to have like empty slots there, because it maxes out at level 8 when you're not a Moon Druid. So what I would probably do is once you hit...
Give them an additional 2.
Give them an additional 2 when they take the subclass at level 3. And so basically what I would do is you get the 4 known forms at level 4, or at level 2. And then when you become a Moon Druid, you would get 6 in total. And then when you hit level 4, you'd have a total of 8. And then at level 8, you'd have a total of 10. And then I would say because your CR thing is going to keep going up and you want more druid forms, you either A, let them swap out the things, or give them an additional druid form every other level. An additional known form every other level. I think that's what I would do. For the moon druid specifically. For every other non shape-shifting focused form of the druid, this table's perfectly fine. It's specifically for the moon druid and by extension that dragon druid we're looking at.
Just give them more options.
Yeah. So, looking at that circle...
And an option to switch it out every level.
You'd want both?
Yeah.
To forget one form and replace it with another?
That should just be a standard for everybody.
Fair enough, yeah. I agree. Makes it a bit harder roleplay-wise, but mechanics-wise it's better.
Yeah.
Alright, now working with the...
I mean, we already we hit our limit when we said we were going to call it.
Yeah, and so I'm just looking back at the dragon one.
If it's all right, I'd like to call it here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think we talked about all the things that needed changing on the dragon form.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that is going to be it from us. Thank you to everybody who tuned in, lurking or otherwise. Huge shout out to our patrons, D4Fan and Brennan. Thank you so much for your support. It means the world to us, and it helps us make cooler stuff. And if you want to support us on Patreon, you can go ahead and just patreon.com/D-Fourtress. And we can, if you want to support us on there, you'll get the cool benefits, such as exclusive Discord access. You'll be able to play some games with us and stuff on stream and everything. And of course, we can, you'll also, at the highest tier, you'll get a permanent discount on everything in our merch store, which also check out our merch store if you want to. But that's going to be everything for us.
D4Tress.com.
Yeah. Thank you all, and we'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.